So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at instory@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSory. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sory and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
We have a metal stream.
I thought we were going to be mega chippy, but it seems like it recovered as soon as we jumped on. So there you go. Let there be lights, as the man said.
There was. All right, you guys. DJ Nick is up tonight.
DJ freaking Nick in this freaking bitch.
You want me to send this to you? This is supposed to be the stream key.
That's a stream key? Yeah, send that shit. Send that shit.
Okay. Send it like this. Boop. I think that should work. Ah, excellent. I love Apple. All right. Happy Halloween. This is very interesting. Let me read you this intro from our DJ. As you know, it is DJ Nick up in this bitch.
Trying to be like me.
Welcome, villagers, to the first of my 4 Halloween-themed streams, says DJ Nick. The first stream will focus on metal songs that fit the Halloween atmosphere, ranging from metalcore to black metal and also featuring a variety of creepy and scary themes. The bands on this set list have written and composed some of the most spooky, grotesque, and terrifying metal songs in history. Welcome. Up first on the list, coming in with a really grotesque album cover, is Septicflesh The Vampire of Nazareth.
I gotta be the Vampire of Nazareth. Damn. Shout out to Septicflesh, man. That was a band, the Funerary Dirge of a Violinist?
Oh, they're the ones that did that?
Yeah. That's like
that
one of my
stuck in my head.
favorite songs
100%.
in the world.
100%. I wonder who sent us that one. Why do I feel like it was Archero?
It was funny because like the video was terrible.
Yeah.
It was like almost mockingly terrible.
Yeah.
But the song was incredible.
I 100% agree.
All right, so we got Ben. Ben, we were talking about you, last night in our walk?
Yup.
Yeah, we were talking about Ben for a minute.
Yup.
But we were talking about the timestamp. Honestly?
Yup.
Honestly, you guys know, like, I listen to a pretty long, drawn-out stuff, because I'm always trying to learn something. When I go and click, and the thing is 3+ hours long, and they don't have chapter breaks and timestamps, I get so mad. Mm-hmm. And then I think to myself, if we didn't have Ben, we'd be in the same situation.
Yep, you'd be creating the content you hate.
It's true.
All right, so Septicflesh.
Complete and total hypocrisy. I don't care.
Give me that timestamp. What's up, JB?
All right, Septicflesh. Say at the 19-minute mark.
0019. Okay. So Septicflesh, the Vampire of Nazareth. Let's see what our DJ has to say about it. He says, Septicflesh are a symphonic death metal band from the Athens, Greece, formed in 1990.
From the Athens, Greece?
Well, I added the because I saw the in the middle of Athens and my brain just added it in there. but take it out, if you will.
Do what
Strike
you
it
will.
from the record.
Strike it from the record.
All right. Metal band from Athens, Greece, formed in 1990 by brothers Spyro and Christos Antonio, along with guitarist Vayanas. The Vampire of Nazareth is from their 2012 album The Great Mass, which has been praised as one of the best symphonic metal albums of all time. The song features the haunting vocals of a choir and a creepy string and horn section, which combined with Spyro's growling vocals sends chills up and down one's spine. Welcome to song 1 of our Metal Halloween night.
DJ Nick in this bitch. I can't wait. Let's do it, guys. Song number 1. Let's do it. Septicflesh The Vampire from... Yeah, you see this is the official live video?
Nope, I didn't. I just downloaded.
Okay. Stand by.
Sorry. No, we can't do any live videos. Official live video. Oh, well. Yeah, I don't...
Nick, tell me what you want to do. Because one of the things we could do is we could put that, like, at the end of the list.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way we can sign off of YouTube and do it on the Rumble Twitter side.
Yeah.
So that's one solution I have for you, Nick.
It's from this season of Mist. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the record label.
Oh. Yeah.
That's an official video. Nick, tell me what you want to do, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Let us know, DJ. Let us know. In the meantime, a random Ask Me Anything and some housekeeping. Click the like button if you want to have some points won tonight.
Right.
We are going to randomly type some numbers into the chat bar or the comment section, whatever you want to call it. And there's that color.
Yeah, but that's not the prize winning color.
Oh no, but it was that color for...
Check
orange.
your Rumble chat. Maybe Nick responded to us in Rumble chat.
Right. Righto. I thought I had it open, but I opened it on that one. Let's see. No, he's not commenting over here, so it will be on your side. Also, if YouTube gets blocked, the Rumble timestamps are going to be off, says Ben.
Right. Oh, Ben said we got sunburn.
Oh, no, he said, well, judging how the movie stream went where people were forced to rumble, we still didn't make it to 10 likes. I don't hold out much hope.
Was that Lost Hate?
No, that's Grizzle Bears. All right. So you guys, we can do a random Ask Me Anything while we're waiting for Nick's response. You want me to just text him?
This cost us some minutes. Mm-hmm. It'd be really great if we looked at those things.
True. I was listening to a conversation while downloading, so I didn't really...
YouTube on now. Yep.
Or maybe I should just call him.
I keep telling you that.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, anybody?
No answer.
Okay, so I'm gonna make an executive decision. We'll put that song last.
Okay.
Let's go to the next one.
All right. So that's I'm very interested in that song.
Which one?
The one we're skipping till the end. Okay, so up next, Rotting Christ. Let me get the timestamp. 23:29. Okay.
Do 23:45.
Rotting Christ, Orders from the Dead, featuring Diamanda Galá. So we have from our DJ Nick some comments here. He says Rotting Christ are a black metal band, also from Athens, Greece, and formed in 1987 by brothers Sakis Tolis and Themis Tolos, alongside bassist Jim Patsaurus. Sorry, guys. This particular song is the closing track on their 10th album. How would you say this?
Aiello?
Which is an ancient Greek word that means catastrophe or destruction. It's a concept record about a soldier's experience in battle and draws inspiration from the movie 300.
Ooh.
The song Orders from the Dead is a cover and was originally written and recorded by avant-garde singer-songwriter Diamanda Galá, who is also featured on the song. The song was originally written about the Armenian, Assyrian, and Greek genocides carried out by Turkey during World War I and up to 1923, but fits the soldier in battle theme very well. The song itself almost immediately unnerves you with Diamanda's haunting and angered vocals, the band's foreboding instrumentation, and the chilling atmosphere
Type 22
they create.
if you can't hear us on these mics. Type 22 if you can't hear us on the mic.
I might be rereading this.
No, I don't think you're rereading it.
I like the way it's written though.
Send me those lyrics though.
Oh, right.
Are we ready?
No, I wasn't done.
Okay, keep going.
So the song itself almost immediately unnerves you with Diamanda's haunting and angered vocals, the band's foreboding instrumentation, and the chilling atmosphere they create. I also included a link to the lyrics with translation for what's written in Greek. Oh, good, because you know, Vinny is going to want that for sure. Okay? Coming to you.
All right, here we go. Song number 1.
Let's do it.
Rotting Christ, Orders from the Dead. Let's do it.
The world is going up in flames. The world is going up in flames. The world is going up in flames. But these flames are not new to our dead. Our dead did cry their final prayer in those flames. Our dead did sing their last lullaby in those flames. Our dead prayed to our infidelic God in those flames. Our dead whispered a last goodbye to their mother in those flames. Izipa mana, miskiajese. Vayirisume ekiyamana. The world is going up in flames. Our world claw their children close. In the world is going up in flames. Tapediamu kale, mini la tapediamu yagonama. Tuteum, oh mutopirane, titina telotizoi, tapediamo. Vazimia trehala yatin talasa, befti ketningete. Our dead watch their daughters butchered, raped, and beaten in the still burning of those flames. Our dead watched an axe remove their mother's skull and crown a wooden spit in the continuous burning of those flames. Our dead watched while Chrysostomus' eyes and tongue were pulled out, teeth and fingers dead watch their sisters drenched with gasoline and strewn with melting skin. The world is going up in flames. The world which is going up in flames. Mama, Yavona Matu Christu, Mima Sakiste, Echume Morama Zimas, Echume Erotus, Corinthia, Iste Efektini, Navarke, Fotja. Our dead were dragged in marches through the desert sun for weeks until the sun burned out their lungs, and when the flames turned inside out their mouths and ripped apart their lips, we heard their final prayer. Lord, God have mercy, please, upon our souls. Mas probosane. Mas sepolizane, panathematus, navarke, tigani, navarke, zostemal, potya. They saw the world is going up in flames. There is not yet dead inside the prison grave. Shavure, infideli, our God has chosen you to die. Konatize kabur, kebenatize, sekizmoso, kezekinonete, anixete skeliasu, ketanigi, cholepse, kechorevi, istetinimiso, ketimpadrizasu, Keftini, Akarnisu Tintistisu, Ketina Parneto, and now the unblessed dead have ordered us to say, this is my grave, my holy bed, you cannot take it, you cannot erase my name. You cannot erase our dead. You cannot erase the dead, because we have been ordered now to list their names, their numbers, to give their date of birth, their earthly city, their father's name, the sweetness of their mother's eyes. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.
Oh my gosh.
But I have orders from the dead that warn me, do not forget me. My blood will fill the air you breathe forever. My deathbird is not dead. He carries all my teeth, my smile of unforgetfulness, my laugh, Vrikolaka. I am the man unburied who cannot sleep in 40 pieces. I am the girl dismembered and unblessed. I am the open mouth that drags your flesh and that can never rest.
That was absolutely incredible. Wow. Terrifying. And, like, when you know, like, what it's about, I mean, I guess it can fit like a soldier. My mind can't even, like, it's so obviously about those genocides. Unbelievable. Wow. Her voice was perfect for this.
Yeah.
And it was, like, haunting, but then once you, like, look at what's actually happening, then you're like, this actually, like, really honors the situation. Like, it, as in, brings the gravity of the situation out. Wow. And the way that it, like, moved, like, it, like, steady moved forward, the song itself did, and it kind of, like, pressed you to the issue, and it was, like, uncomfortable, too. Like, the topic, like, what we're talking about, the way that the music was, like, it made you feel like your nerves were off.
Yeah. People were talking about the Armenian genocide.
Yeah, there was multiple ones listed.
And that's when you had Christian women being crucified. All types of craziness.
Yeah.
It's interesting when, because we talk a lot with atheists and stuff. And I was looking at an old video and the guy was like, "You guys killed 130 million people in the Inquisition." No, we didn't. It wasn't even close to that. And I always say, like, what was the who's responsible for all the bloodletting of the 20th century, the one we just got out of? Mm-hmm. Like, those are all secular wars. Those were not religious wars. Mm-hmm. Ferdinand and all them boys, like, that was just the French Revolution never really being finished. You know what I'm saying? Which was a decidedly secular kind of. So it's fascinating when I hear people say, like, religion's responsible for all this death and destruction.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the Armenian genocide, like, again, that's religiously motivated because of the Islamic angle. A lot of people don't know this, but the Quran actually tells you to crucify people who make trouble in the city. It literally uses the term crucify. Yeah. And so you had Armenian Christians that were crucified en masse, including women. Which is something that the Romans did, but were hesitant to do. So yeah, like, it's crazy to think about, like, on the Western side, we are so comfortable and we're so safe that we have no problem. We have no issue, like, criticizing religion, the government, and all the rest of it. But if our religion and our government was as fascistic as everybody claims, we wouldn't be able to say that.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's why I'm looking at it like, I can't stand the language that we use. It's like, oh, you want an all-female bathroom, that equals genocide. Like, we had that discussion last year where people were talking about that's genocide. And I'm like...
Yeah, yep.
No.
No. Genocide is genocide.
Like, what's happening to Palestinians right now is
genocide. Yeah.
People saying, I'm not comfortable with you in this bathroom is not genocide.
Yeah.
You can call it something else. And you might still agree or disagree if it's morally right or wrong. But genocide is something qualitatively different. And that's why that term was so offensive to me last year when everybody was throwing it around. Of course, we didn't have October 7th in our head, but we're fast approaching the 1-year anniversary of what happened with October 7th and then the disproportionate response by the Israelis. I don't know what the kill count is, like 50K now. I don't know what it is, but it's an insane number. And it doesn't look like there's any end in sight. Kamala is definitely not... playing hardball relative to, what America's role is going to be. So, yeah, it's just a crazy thing to think about. Like, the world is going up in flames. And, like, for me, people like misunderstand when I say, look at all the killing that the secularists did, in the last century. People think that I think that that's somehow like definitive proof of Christianity or definitive proof that secularism is a failed attempt at an experiment, when in reality, I believe that all human beings are the same, whether we're religious or not. Mm-hmm. We're selfish, we're self-centered, we're self-oriented, and all of us have the drive inside of us to kill other human beings who get in our way, but that gets tempered by what the theologians called common grace, as well as the fact that you want to live in society relatively okay without anybody telling you what to do, and if you did the things that you truly wanted to do, you'd end up in prison. And of course, Nietzsche's answer to that was, well, if you're not doing something that you genuinely want to do because you want to avoid prison, that in itself is a prison. That was Nietzsche's idea. So he's like, man, get out of there and come up with it for yourself. And that's why he predicted all that death and destruction, because he's like, the process of doing that is going to make it so that we understand that there aren't any real mores or boundaries, that those are all like incidental and made up. And once a group of people realize that, they're going to go out and wreck shop. And then at some point, people are going to say, yeah, but if we want to like actually survive as a human race, we have to find a way to come up with our own guideposts while simultaneously doing something to maintain. And that's where the Ubermensch came, because the Ubermensch was supposed to figure all that shit out. The Superman.
That's what they were supposed to figure out?
Yeah, they were supposed to figure out how to have an ordered and structured society without God dictating to your morality.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just thought it was like the perfect human. For some reason, I just thought that it meant like whatever.
Yeah,
they
the perfect
as,
human was going to emerge.
But I didn't know
it was going to emerge from the ashes of the destruction that was going to be brought about by the fact that we all realized that there was no God and there's no reason, there's no such real thing as human dignity.
Oh man!
So once you come to that realization and that truth, I don't believe it's truth.
Yeah.
But once you get to that truth, then there's nothing you won't do to further your own ends.
Wow.
And that's why you can experiment
crazy.
on human beings as if they're animals,
Yeah.
all the rest of it, because once that moray is out of the way, that little stopgap is out of the way, then you can do anything, and that's what we see. So, I guarantee you, all those people that were talking about abortion being safe, legal, and rare in the 90s, if you had ever told them, listen, in very short order, we're going to be able to kill fully developed 9-month-old babies in the womb like the day before they're born, people would say that would never happen. And
that
but
if
it
somebody
continues to happen.
had the baby, strangled it, throw it in the dumpster, that person would get off because they would say it was a technicality. It was sort of like a failed abortion, not a failed abortion. What do they call it?
Yeah, a botched abortion, whatever.
Abortion,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, but like.
Crazy. I don't think people would have thought that would have been the case, because I've heard people argue it for years.
That's why years ago, like the whole punch the Nazi thing happened, and I was like,
I remember that, man.
I don't believe it. No, that's a terrible idea. What do you mean punch a Nazi?
I totally agree with that. I did change my stance on that one.
And then it's like all of us know that there's currently a genocide happening in Gaza right now. We know that 50,000 kids, women and children, whatever. And we know they're not dying in nice ways either. They're starving to death. They're dying of thirst.
Getting crushed under stuff.
Suffocating to death while their kids are crying out for them to help.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
we know that's going on, and we're still going to Starbucks and doing our merry little thing and acting like, whatever. We're sitting here talking about Thanksgiving. And I'm not like, there's no guilt in living your life. But my point is, like, that was always the reason where I'm like, people really think that they're better than these people in Germany. They really do. No, we're not. Mm-hmm. Your country's bombing the shit. Your country is 9/11ing people every day for the last 20 years. We don't care at all. And that's what Nietzsche was trying to say. Like, come on, y'all. Y'all are, like, going around with this, like, mutually agreed upon fiction, which is religion. Because you can't think of another way to live where we can all still survive, but people can genuinely do what they want without some sort of overwatch of, it's an extremely complex system in his mind. But he was a guy who thought through the ramifications of what do we do with the death of God? Like, what are the real practical and big picture ramifications?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, this is not about secularism or religion. To me, this is about human nature.
Yeah.
We are inherently selfish, power hungry. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how humble you are. That's on a scale.
Yeah.
We're power hungry. We're selfish. And if we could, we would get rid of people who pose problems to us. And that's clearly evidenced by the fact that every single time it was legal, human beings in the main took full advantage of it.
Yeah.
So, it's just crazy. Can you imagine if China follows the Israelis' idea and puts explosives in China-made gadgets? Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you literally had Americans celebrating that, where the Israelis put, little nano bombs and shit, so when they went to get a text message or something and pull up their phone and blow up on them, take their heads off, all type of shit. And so the Mossad was going around like publishing all these videos of these people getting blown up and shit, like really nasty, disgusting videos. And then of course you have, anyway,
Oh my God.
Really good start out to the song. I'm gonna give this one a 9.5. This was extremely haunting. It was an extremely haunting song, and like the pain and suffering that these people went through.
Oh man.
And just man's absolute cruelty to his brother is just crazy to me. Like the capacity for cruelty is just insane.
Yeah, I agree. This song for me it's a silent count. It was just so deep, and like you just could feel the pain. And I love the different language aspect of it, because we got our own kind of version of that. But it was crazy, like when it was, just what had happened to these women, and then the way that it was described, especially the dance scene, it was so troubling. And it was like, sometimes people go through bad situations and they have somebody right there to like help them. You know what I mean? And make them, if you go through something bad, but you have like somebody that's there beside you that like says, hey, like this is wrong, this is whatever, and like is supportive of you and stuff, like as painful as it is, it's not as crazy as it could have been. But like to be in this situation where somebody has ultimate power over you and can force you to do all these things, down to even making you betray your own faith, like make you say that you're betraying your own faith, I just horrible. And just like putting that in the box of all the things historically that have happened to women in all different categories, where there was weakness, where there was perceived weakness, or there is weakness, and people took advantage of it. So like, I don't know, just like, I guess shout out to all my sisters throughout all of history and time and everything that everybody went through. And I mean, for me, I was like, oh my gosh, Jesus, you have to help. Like these things are just crazy. And like you said, like the stuff over there, and it's the idea that this is still happening right now, and that those people are suffering. I just, like, literally, like you said, like you put it out of your head. Your mind says, okay, I can't feel this or think about this anymore. And you just put it out and go to Starbucks. But like the idea that we even have the privilege to be able to do something like that. And if I was in their situation, I wouldn't want anybody to take a break. I'd want them to like just keep doing anything possible to help. But here we are. So anyway, shout out to, like I said, all my sisters throughout all of history, because this is a painful song. Definitely a silent count for me. Well done. Like no critique on the performance. Everything was just really top notch.
Yeah, I agree. It's a deep song. The night has just started. So sit back and relax. Israel is literally God's chosen people, and legally could not be more power hungry or selfish. Yeshua is king. He said, because if you say Jesus is king, that's anti-Semitic. So you got to use Jesus's Hebrew name. I'm with you, Applejack. Believe me. We're coming back on the other side of the break. Dear listener, commercial break. We'll be right back. Vid out.
Sorry out.
Go. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at instory@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSory. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sory and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. It's how shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are back. Metal stream incoming. We've got a band. They're like a little indie group. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're called Cradle of Filth.
What now,
I don't know if any of you beautiful people are familiar with said band, but here we are. Here we are.
Yes, a Cradle of Filth song for our DJ Nick Metal Halloween stream.
Yes.
Okay, so
this is the pre-Halloween stream.
Well, there's going to be four streams for his Halloween.
4 Halloween streams, dear listener.
All right, so Cradle of Filth.
By the way, is Middle here?
I don't know. What's the timestamp?
Yeah, timestamp is 52 and a half. 52.3. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Cradle of Filth, 13 Autumns and a Widow. The opening track on Cradle of Filth's masterpiece of an album, Cruelty and the Beast. 13 Autumns and a Widow is about Elizabeth Bathory's tormented childhood. Interesting.
Oh!
That's different. The song includes an instrumental intro called Once Upon Atrocity and is great in its own right. I've included a link to songmeanings.com page for this song where there's a well thought out and thorough analysis of the lyrics and the story. All right, here's the lyrics.
Can you send them to me?
I shall.
All right, guys, here we go. Cradle of freaking Filth. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Here we go. Cradle of Filth. The name of this song is...
The name of the song is 13 Autumns and a Widow.
13 Autumns and a Widow.
See that? Got the fixed headphones.
Yep. Shout out to all our patrons. Let's do it.
Yep.
This is a lyric video, too. This is tense as hell, bruh.
Yeah.
It's not a fun situation. Let's get the lyrics on that side.
It's like doing like the sort of like methodic.
Yeah. Yeah, like, when I was a kid, I used to write those
Still one?
true story books. The true story of this, the true story of that. And I was always taking the side of the bad guy. So, like, the Three Little Pigs, like, I wasn't trying to eat anybody. I was just trying to get some jam. And, I knocked on the door, and they just assumed because I was a wolf.
That's what you'd think?
So I wrote that out. That was my story. I was like, the true story of like, I'm the wolf.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what happened. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, it was kind of like a sympathy for the devil type kind of attitude. And, like, that's kind of like this here, Elizabeth Bathory. This is the woman
right. The way that what they did with this
she
song.
used to capture the young girls and then drink their blood or whatever.
I thought she would take a bath in their blood.
In their blood so she could stay young or whatever.
Yeah.
But, so this is kind of like, but you don't know what she went through. You know what I'm saying? Like on a very interesting scale. So I was like, okay, I see what you did there, Danny Filth. Yeah. So he's basically saying this is her backstory. This will explain
why she did that.
Why she became Elizabeth Bathory that we all know and hate or whatever. Yeah,
but maybe I missed some of the story here. It sounded like, okay, what I got from it was the priest. She went into the confessional. He took advantage of the situation. She ends up like. I think it sounds like he probably raped her or something. And then she kind of, it says that she did one of the things like of her own volition, but like how much is it really your own volition? Because he was saying your sins will be forgiven once you first, like she had to do that to be able to get some forgiveness for something. Right. But then she ends up.
She's presented as at the beginning, having a real like sensitive conscience, it looks like. And then the priest took advantage of that, and then it turned her into,
But she ends up dying, and then she comes back to life, but it's 13 years later. Is that right?
I spawned wanton light on an auspicious night. Her eyes betrayed spells of the moon's eerie light. A disquieting gaze forever ghosting far seas. Bled white and dead her true mother was fed. To the ravenous wolves that the elements led. So her mom died, basically thrown to the animals, not given a Christian burial, which they talked about the death of the unblessed. Was that the song before? It's about the woman was dying unblessed. That's like a big thing in Catholicism, not having your funeral rites.
I don't know which song.
It was also a big thing in Judaism. Josephus talked about it. How during the siege, from 67 to 70 AD, the zealots wouldn't let you bury the dead. So they just leave the dead out in the streets type of thing.
It was the song before.
Why would they not bury the dead? Well, one is the psychology of it. They wanted people to see all the dead bodies, so they'd say, we got to fight these Romans. Look what they did. See what I'm saying? Like, you can't just have it just be a regular street. What they didn't realize, though, is that there was all this religion attached to the burial rites. So it was basically, you're disrespecting this person. We know the Romans aren't doing that. You're doing that.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Yep. But well, yeah, go ahead, because I know you
from
have to
crag
go to
jagged
order.
mountains that seemingly grew in unease through the man, this guy can write. A black carriage was drawn, flanked by barbed lightning that hissed at the storm. Gilded and crest of the Carpathian breed. Nikolai Carpathian.
Yeah.
Bringing slaves to the sodomite for the newborn. On that eve when the Countess's own came deformed. So, this guy is a pervert, obviously.
Yes.
But he's called the sodomite, which is very, very interesting.
But we're talking about the priest, right?
Yeah, but isn't the priest the one that ends up assaulting
That's why
her? So he calls her the sodomite. So he calls the priest the sodomite, and I don't know if it's a thing in Catholicism. Like, I hate to say this, but if your boy is demonstrating LGBT tendencies, they'll say, "Oh, you're being called into the priesthood."
Oh, yeah.
Because
yeah.
You're not being called to marriage, obviously, because you're attracted to a dude, and that can't happen. So they'll say, oh, so there's a whole bunch of LGBT priests who became priests because of that, right? So if he's calling this priest a sodomite, then it might just be, the guy was already a sexual deviant, and so he joined the priesthood because of that.
But when it says bringing slaves to the sodomite for the newborn, who or what's the newborn?
I don't know. Bringing slaves to the sodomite for the newborn. On that eve, when the countess's own came deformed, a tragedy crept to the name Bathory. Elizabeth christened, no paler a rose, grew so dark as this sylph. None more cold in repose, yet her beauty spun webs round hearts a glance would betroth. She feared the light, so when she fell like a sinner to vice, under austere puritanical rule, she sacrificed. Okay, so I'm pretty sure she was the newborn. So bringing slaves to the sodomite for the newborn on that eve when the countess's own came deformed. So she was born as a deformed sort of baby. Something's wrong with her.
Yeah.
So it says a tragedy crept to the name Bathory.
Yeah.
Elizabeth christened, no paler a rose grew so dark as this. Okay, so she became evil, almost like Satan entered into her at the moment of her christening. Because it says Elizabeth christened, no paler a rose grew so dark as this sylph. No more cold in repose, yet her beauty spun webs. So she was cold,
really cold, but really beautiful,
really aloof, and is demonized by the time she gets christened.
And
That's crazy.
And people would want to round hearts a glance would betroth. In other words, when people just
Love
glanced at her, they wanted to marry her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she feared the light.
So, which is one of the motifs of the vampire, right? He doesn't like, you know what I'm saying?
Burns his skin.
And they stay young forever too, and they consume blood. So it's interesting. The Corso is very interesting. It says, so when she fell like a sinner to vice under austere puritanical rules, she sacrificed. Mandragora, like virgins to rats in the wall, but after the whip angels licked prisoners thrall, never were her dreams so manically cruel. Okay, so it looks to me like right there is like the locus of the song, which is when she fell to vice. When she fell like a sinner to vice, under austere puritanical rules, she sacrificed. So it's like, it's the typical, if the pendulum just swings either way. So if you're in a hyper-puritanical society, any little thing that you do gets exaggerated. Especially with these neurotic people who are obsessed with sex all the time. So it's like, the Bible says you should wait till you're married to have sex. That's what it says in the Song of Solomon. Okay, right. So I'm going to wait till I have sex. But if you have a puritanical society, it's, you can't look at the girl, you can't like her cologne, her perfume, because now you're thinking about her when she's not there, and yada 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 yada. And so you pile on all these other things that are not actually sinful, but you make it so that these people feel so horrible about themselves that they're like, man, fuck it, I'll just, I can't even like her perfume, I might as well just jump into bed with her. Like, that ends up happening is when you put extra rules onto the laws that God has told us about, it ends up actually breaking the rule that you're trying to protect. It's like Adam when he was like...
Oh my gosh, is that what happened? Because remember how Adam told Eve that you're not even supposed to touch the tree?
Don't even touch it!
And so I wonder if, like, because it says that she saw that it was good for food. So I wonder if it was like, when he was like, don't even touch it, it was basically like that, don't even look at it type of situation. Yeah. And then she's looking at it and she's like, actually, you were wrong about that. Because I've seen that it's nothing happened. Yeah. And so then she takes it to the next step. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's one of the things that's really fascinating, like, when you really, really dig into the Bible, is that you'll have people that react to the laws differently. So you'll have some people like, man, fuck that law, I don't care about that shit. Mm-hmm. And there are chaos elements in culture, and they eventually weed themselves out. And then you have other people that are like, oh, that's what the rule says, we're going to follow the rule, but they don't understand why the rule was actually there. Like, that's the whole letter of the law versus spirit of the law thing. So biblically, you're encouraged to think, Why is this law here? How does this law serve love? Because loving God and loving neighbor is the greatest of all commandments. So how does this commandment make it so that I love my neighbor more on a practical level on a Wednesday at 5:30? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot different than like adding all these extra rules to people, making them feel like they're the worst thing possible. And then now you've got this wonderful system where it's like, well, now you have to come to me, confessional. You have to come to me, tell me all your dirt. We're going to have a completely asymmetrical relationship because you're telling me all your dirt, but I'm not telling you any of my flaws.
Yep.
And then I tell you, say 15 Hail Marys, and then I will distribute God's forgiveness to you. It's like the control mechanism there is so obvious. Does the Bible say confess your sins? Yeah, one to another. It doesn't say there's a whole class of people that are so like up there that they'll hear about your sins, but you won't hear about theirs. Like, that's what, like, we went to a church and they had this thing where, like, you'd meet every week and, like, you would talk about the screw ups that you had in the week. And the lead guy would talk about it so he could get everybody else, because, you know, nobody wants to admit that they're wrong or they had a bad day or whatever. But I just thought that these lyrics were so crazy. When she fell like a sinner to vice under austere puritanical rules, she sacrificed. Like, it sends you to the other extreme, you know? And so it's like, you really have to find a way to give accurate, but you almost have to be creative about the way that you tell your growing children about life. Because if you make it, don't do this, you're horrible, you're wrong, it's going to activate that rebellion principle. It's going to activate, hey, what's this over here? You know?
Yeah, I actually noticed that. Because, like, I kept reverting to being like, you can't do this because that's not good. So I kept saying, because I didn't want to say that's bad, like so I'd be like, that's not good. But it wasn't really like motivating anybody. But then when I switched it up to be like, yeah, but were you loving your brother when you did that?
Yep.
That like changed it, like their faces changed. Like it seemed like, oh wait, this is about, and then when I bring up like, this is our family and I talk about family and how we love each other and stuff, that definitely changes the vibe away from,
No, I agree. I agree completely. What's up, Jason Henderson?
Hi. Wasn't he? He used to be on the channel a long time ago, I think. The Jason Red Henderson, I think.
We have to realize that it's impossible to meet these perfect standards and are in need of something or someone to fill the void. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And that's why I said that line is so instructive, because I think a lot of people have been terrorized into becoming terrorists by religion. Because it actually creates, when people take religion seriously, it creates some of the most resentful people of all time. Because if you can be convinced that the ultimate power in the world has laid a bunch of rules for you to follow that he knows you cannot keep, just so that he can fuck you up.
Yeah.
Eventually, but if you take religion seriously, you're trying to follow these rules. And you keep coming to the end of yourself, screwing up, and you never know where you are with God, because, like, on the day that you can keep the rules, you feel better. But then something happens, one thing screws up, and now the whole thing screws up.
Yeah.
And you end up actually resenting this God that you're serving, because it's like you are an unyielding, unforgiving, very severe taskmaster. And I can't live up to your standards, so I'm just going to quit and swing the other way, because there's not much resistance in being evil. Like, human beings have to understand that about ourselves. It is harder for us to do good than it is to do evil, because we're naturally bent towards selfishness.
Yeah.
And so selfishness says the only problem that you have in the world is that there are people that are in your way of attaining whatever you want. That's the only problem in the world. And if you could solve that problem, then your world is perfect. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people swing so that pendulum just swings like crazy. Instead of having a... This is one of the things I appreciate about Buddhism, or my current perception of Buddhism, which is to say that there's a very big primer on balance. You know?
Yes.
And I think that that's something that's a hole in the Western mind. The Western mind is not oriented toward finding balance or third ways or anything. Or the
It would help us politically.
The Western mind is about conquering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So if that's your mindset, you're going to conquer shit, then you're not really going to look for third way solutions. You're not going to look at creative solutions. You're going to spend all your creativity on weapons, which is exactly what happens. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we've got some sort of UFO, UAP, Watcher, Nephilim, extra dimensional. I'm sure we got some sort of tech. But our instinct was not to use it to better humanity. Like, oh, wow, we could do cold fusion. We may not have to pay gas prices anymore. Hell, we could end the whole fossil fuel industry tomorrow. We won't have to worry about anthropomorphic climate change. Nope. How can we use our brain power to create this as a weapon of war? Because we got to deal with the Chinese in about 24 years. Like, that's where we are, you know? So it was interesting looking at what he said about her and what her motivations were. You know, a bad interaction with a priest. Yeah. Plus a puritanical society that sets up all these horrible hoops. Mm-hmm. Especially that young people have. I don't think you could have it worse than to be a religious teenage female with any sort of attractiveness. Because when you're a guy, the messaging you hear is, "Hello, I know the girls are hot and you got raging hormones and shit like that, but keep it in your pants," and it's all very lighthearted. And then the woman "You're a slut, you're a whore, nobody's gonna want you," blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. It's like, wait a second. So the guy is getting like the wink, wink, nod, nod. The girl is getting, "You're crazy." So she's fucking neurotic at her wedding night. And she doesn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Because the entire time you've batted into her head that she's... So now she's supposed to just jump in the sack and be completely fine with it after her entire life has been filled with y'all saying all types of reckless shit about sex and sexuality. You know what I'm saying? So these extra laws that people put up and the using language that God doesn't use and things like that, like, at some level, it's probably good natured to a degree, but it just always backfires.
Some negative ramifications that come from it, yeah.
And that's why I always say, like, we don't want to be more holy than Jesus. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be,
exactly.
You know, like, Jesus drank wine. Like, that was it for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember when we first talked about it, like, you so wanted me to say alcohol was, and I'm like, I just can't do it. Mm-hmm. Jesus turned water into wine. Well, wasn't it grape juice? No. Like, no. Anyway.
Yep.
What do you got? What do you give this one?
Ooh, this is a strong 9.7.
Bob Jordan in this bitch. Glad to see you two live too, buddy. It's truly human nature to focus on others and not entirely as what needs to change in this world. But everyone is focusing on what everyone else needs to do. What can truly change? Right. You can only change yourself. And barely. Mm-hmm. Look how hard it is to, you know, I mean, we've got million and billion dollar industries off of the fact that it's very hard to change yourself. But
that's
you know, what JB is saying is like, okay, if it's that hard in the natural, why the hell would we want to put even more burden on people in the spiritual?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's what happened to come to me, you're a heavy lady. Like, we're supposed to be
rest.
like the refugee camp from the rat race. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we're supposed to be. But now it's like, nah, we got all these lists. I mean, like I said, like, sexual integrity is important. You know? Like,
I mean, it's gonna save you from a lot of heartache.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. All right, so what did you give it?
I gave it a 9.7, and I said strong 9.7.
Strong 9.7. I'm going to give this one a 9.5. 9.5. We will see you beautiful people on the other side of the break.
We will be right back.
A deep song,
yeah.
Bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Rest in peace to Miss Bathory. Stop killing people, though. Yeah, I mean, you're not killing nobody no more, but, you know what I'm saying?
But people like you are still out there.
People like you still out there in this bitch. Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Go. See you on the other side. Catch me on the other
sorry.
side. If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says... $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at instory@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSory. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sory and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. A child shall lead them.
So buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are in the midst of our DJ Nick
Halloween. Let me put some orange light.
Stream.
Yes, it's a Halloween metal stream.
Yes,
and
sir.
up next
Bobbert
is the Black Dahlia murder.
The Black Dahlia murder.
Virally.
Murdered who?
Murdered who? That is such a great one. All right, virally yours.
Virally yours.
Ooh, DJ Nick says, arguably the Black Dahlia murder's most lyrically disturbing song. It makes me think of Cradle of Filth and Slayer at their nausea-inducing worst. Coming from the best album, Nocturnal.
What is it? Nausea-inducing?
At their nausea-inducing worst. Coming from their best album, Nocturnal, vocalist Trevor Strnad said the song is about a woman who works in a hospital a man who works in a hospital because he likes to watch people die. He likes illness. Trevor loved shocking people with his lyrics, and it's a very fitting song for the spooky season. Ugh. You know what? Honestly, I had my blood drawn one time, and the girl was like, I said, so how do you like this job? Because I was thinking, wow, what a horrible job. You know you have to, like, stick needles in people all day. Like, for me, like, that's, like, the worst. And she said, I love taking blood.
Who said that?
The phlebotomist! I said, what? She said, she literally licked her lips and said, I love drawing blood from people's veins. I said, oh, so it doesn't freak you out? She goes, no, I love it. She said, I love seeing in the
okay.
I couldn't believe it, like hearing
Wonderful.
this woman saying all this stuff. I was like, and then she was about to take my blood.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Weird.
For that. Thank you so much.
Now let's go into this spooky song.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you forgot to give me the timestamp.
Everyone is so creative.
Everybody's so creative.
Let's try 1:24:30. 1:24:30.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Virally yours.
Virally yours. By who? By
Black
who?
Dahlia murder.
By the Black Dahlia murder. Here we go. Let's do it. Everyone better have a strong stomach for these lyrics, he says.
Oh my gosh, are you serious right now?
Virally yours. Let's check it out.
brought up that I'm like, holy shit, I never thought of that before. This is one of those. Like, the idea that somebody would even get a job like that because that's how they feel like about it. It sounds so insane, but it also, once you hear the idea, you're like, oh my gosh, I could actually see some psychopath doing that. Especially like, Like,
go ahead, especially what?
Well, some of the classes that you have to take, you know, just to get into the medical field to, you know, be like a CNA or whatever, it's not like it takes very long. Like, but that's crazy. Like,
so what are you saying? It
doesn't
take very long, therefore what?
Like, if it was like somebody had this mindset about like doing dental work on somebody, it's like that's going to be a lot of work to be able to fulfill that fantasy. But like to just be to get to the point of being a CNA, it doesn't really take like a lot of time to be able to get into the medical field where you could be in a situation where you were, you know, this crazy around people that were sick or dying. Like taking photos or whatever. Did he say he took photos of the bed sores? Yeah, photographing bed sores.
Yeah, he was
cultured
also,
by my neglect.
He was also talking about necromancy to a degree.
Where,
like doing stuff with the thing.
Yeah, to the person that was in a coma. Yeah, that's really...
The sound of vomiting to my ears like singing. Now I'm beginning to become erect. With illness I'm obsessed. In the beds of the fallen I rest. So he sleeps next to dead people. Is what he's... Like he's working...
I didn't catch that till you read it out loud.
Yeah, he's like working at the morgue basically. And he likes disgusting shit. Like the sound of vomiting is like singing to him.
The smell, like he's... I don't know, what does it mean, combing?
A fixation amplified. The smell here is what I like best. Feverishly combing the buckets of waste. He's going through it.
That's what I thought it
wrapping myself in the filth-laden sheets.
Ah!
Did he say raping
raping
the shells of the comatose?
Yeah. You don't like the shell of a person. That's really disgusting and horrible.
You know, I was having a discussion, and this person was telling me that the targets of abortion were human beings, but they were not human persons. And because they were not human persons, that they were open for killing. And so this person really truly believed that this was some sort of elegant solution to the fact that you're killing human beings in abortion. I pointed out to my brother that was literally the same template that was used during the transatlantic slave trade. These Negroes look like us, they're a form of Homo sapien, but they're very different from us in this very specific way, and so because of that, they're not equally human as we are. So I had this guy that he got on, he was very angry at me because a lot of people don't know this about the targets of abortion, that they're actually human, that life begins at conception. People truly believe that that's a religious idea, that life begins at conception.
Yeah, that's true. Whenever they talk about it, it does sound like that.
They don't understand, like, no, this is settled science.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, because you always bring up the embryologist. Yeah.
They don't get it. So I was just sitting there, like, looking at this, and this guy gets on, and he said, unless you can think and be conscious, you're not a person. So you can do whatever you want. So me and this person were supposed to have this moderated debate and all the rest of it. It never materialized because he didn't want to do it. But one of the things I said, so the child at 19 weeks, they get conscious, whatever, sentient at 22 weeks. He's like, well, fine, you protect them at 22 weeks, but anything before that, they're open season. He said you can do whatever you want, but until it gets to that level. And it's really fascinating to me because I'm like, okay, the child in the womb, if you give him about 3 or 4 months, he's going to get conscious or whatever. Meanwhile, you've got Susie, who has been in a coma for 4 years, and there's no sign of anything changing. So, should we be able to kill that person? And I'm not talking about taking her off life support. I'm talking about getting a knife and just plunging it into her chest until she flatlines. Here's another question that I had. Since you have to be conscious to be a person, I was going to ask the dude, okay, Susie's been in a coma for 4 years. There's no prognosis of her getting out of the coma. So she's not thinking. So according to you, she's not a human being. Does that doctor get the right to sexually assault her? Because, to your point, she's not a person right now because she's existing as a human being, but she's not a human person according to those parameters. And if you can kill non-human persons, surely you ought to be able to assault them. So you can see,
Oh, yeah.
he doesn't want to have this discussion.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting because, like, I think all of us are univocally agreed upon the idea that this guy assaulting the comatose is some form of miscarriage of justice. But my friend wouldn't be able to explain to you why it's a miscarriage of justice.
Yeah.
Because of his person being distinction. And now you can say, because look, person is not a scientific category, it's a philosophical one.
Mm-hmm.
So science doesn't have space for variegated views. Okay, it's not like you can show up at the biology department at Yale and deny Darwinian macroevolution and get a residency. Right? Like, you're not going to be able to defy gravity and get a residency. You're not going to be able to defy that the Earth is an oblong sphere and get a residency. So, like, there's a certain kind of orthodoxy you have to have.
Yeah.
That functions exactly like religious orthodoxy functions. So it was it's a very interesting question.
So that person, on a technical level, I mean, they believe that you are, during the daytime, you're a person, and when you go to sleep, you're something else?
Well, he said that was different. And I said, well, why is it different? He's like, because I'm going to wake up in 8 hours. And I'm like,
and the
baby's going to wake up in 2 months.
Yeah,
so
what's the difference?
And he goes, well, he hasn't been awake yet. And I'm like, that's the difference? Like, what? So, but that's why I came up with the coma situation, because a coma is 4 years and we don't know. As a matter of fact, the educated guess says she's going to be in a coma for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
So should he be able to assault her?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, the baby, forget 30 years, he's going to be conscious in 2 months.
Yeah.
So one is not a person, the other is. So you have to ask questions like that because people are disingenuous, and they're so disingenuous that they deceive themselves. And so when you ask that question, it because the only way that you can say, no, you should not assault that person, is because we have to assume that that person on the bed in a comatose situation is infinitely valuable, regardless of the fact that she has nobody to advocate for her, and that there's nothing that she can do to make society better. All she can do is be a resource depletion agent. One worldview says all of that is true, and she's still the most valuable thing in that room, regardless of whether or not we randomly decide that she's no longer a person. You have another worldview that says, well, look, if they're not contributing to society, and if they're a detriment and they're a drain, they're a liability more than an asset, get rid of them. That's what they did in Canada, with this assisted suicide stuff, where the guy has chronic major depression. And I've lived with major depression for the vast majority of my life. That shit is no joke. And there's not really a big end in sight. And I talked about this about 4 or 5 years ago when people were playing around with assisted suicide. And I was like, you do that, there's no way in the world that you can bar a person with a mental issue from taking those services. And sure enough, there's this guy's in Canada, and he's got major depression among other things, and the nurse heavily suggested the suicide option. Like, what? No. Like, people can't see how that's going to get bad. People can't see how we went from, oh, here's a clump of cells, to, hey, we're butchering this 9-month-old child even though the mother's water's broken. That's actually a true discussion that happened. So like,
It's crazy.
yeah, it's all be crazy. It's all crazy.
I wonder what somebody in this situation, like, because, you know, they're playing this game like they're some sort of like pseudo god in a sense, like walking around like inflicting this pain on somebody else, like. So does this person at some point, like, obviously they're going to come to the end of their life, and I wonder like what that's like when all of a sudden, like, because you put that control on everybody else when they were in the situation, and now you're in it.
Right.
And you're going, and you've been that person. Like, that's going to be a pretty, I don't know, terrifying, you'd think, if they were aware of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, man, your worldview matters. This guy, like, he says malpractices my name or whatever it is.
Yeah, my middle name.
I do think that,
Be
like,
my bitter name, I mean.
doctors, I'm surprised there isn't like a thriller series on doctors, because they kind of do function like gods. Like, who holds them accountable? They're doing all this experimental shit, yada yada. Like, some of these dudes are like legit mad scientists. Like, who's holding?
Yeah.
Like, literally in the Holocaust, like the main bad guys, the people who were really horrible, they were doctors. Mm-hmm. This is what Cyclone B is gonna do. This is how long it's gonna do it. This is like, you had doctors and scientists that were really responsible for the insane numbers. Of course, you got to have operators who are going to do the horrible thing, but it was really what it came down to was doctors and scientists who were using that accumulated information to be the best killers possible. It's like, it's absolutely insane to me.
Nuts.
Absolutely insane. And that's why people are like, oh, when you get to technological, you know, advancement, you know, it affects your morality in a positive way. Like, what are you talking about? Where are these people getting these? Like, what world are we living in with these people? It's a good song in the sense that it really helps you to see, like, the depth of human depravity.
Yeah.
What is this?
I think it's just some fancy coffee drink. That's probably heavy cream or something.
Did you order milk?
Did I order milk?
What is this? I don't understand. Why is it white?
I think that she put some, because I have heavy cream out there. It's like a whipping cream. So she might have whipped some up. She probably did some little recipe. I think she was trying to make something special.
Oh, it's nice. I like it.
Oh, good.
Text her. Tell her she did a good job. Hold on.
Let's finish this review.
Y'all still here?
Yo.
Yeah. Come closer.
The people.
Come and welcome.
Oh, yeah. Remember when they used to do that on shows? They'd be like, shh, come in. They were going to tell you something?
Yeah. There's a dude in there, like, singing your praises. So, you know, just keep your distance from the camera. Just go ahead and judge the score.
Yeah, the song was crazy, but it definitely, like, it definitely got you a vibe for what was going on here. I would give this one a disgusting 9.
Hey! Jay's in the house! Jay's in this bitch! What's up, Jay? Good to see you, buddy. Alright, here we go. Did you rate the song? Mm-hmm. What'd you give it?
A disgusting 9.
Alright, I'm gonna give it a disgusting 9.2. We will see you beautiful people on the other side of the break. Vin out!
Sorry out.
Go! Don't go nowhere. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSory. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sory and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We got racists like Dwayne Chamberlain who wants me banned from my own channel.
What? How dare you?
You wouldn't dare.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to the big homie Jade the Spirited in the house.
Shout out.
Look, hey y'all, not getting into details. Please send me some prayers and good vibes my way. Yeah, definitely.
100%. 100%.
Hit me, Jay. What's up with you?
All right. Timestamp.
146. Just do 147.
147.
147.
Okay, The Devil Wears Prada. The name of the
Devil
song.
Wears Prada.
The name of the song is Survivor.
Really?
DJ Nick says, The Devil Wears Prada is a metalcore band from Dayton, Ohio, formed in 2005. The song Survivor is off their 2010 EP Zombie, which is a 5-song concept record about a zombie apocalypse.
Oh shit.
Survivor is the last track on the album and details with the theme of survivor's guilt. Oh, great.
Send me the lyrics.
Here we go.
Wow. As someone who spent the better part of a year in a mental institution, the doctors did everything they could to save my life. I cannot imagine if they offered me a death pod. Yeah. Same here, Josh. Same here.
Crazy.
It's absolutely insane. What does it say? Those that hate me love death. Mm-hmm. Thanks for remembering the timestamp. Please remember to post them in the video description so I don't go insane. Yes, we will. Here we go. The Devil Wears Prada, Survivor. Please send me those lyrics.
I already did.
Let's go! This looks like another official video. my god, look at this shit. What would you do? Damn, he gave up! Ah!
Wow. That. I'm gonna let you go ahead. This song. Actually, I'm not. This song, like, started out, I was like, I don't know. And then as it progressed, I liked it more and more and more. The vocals were, like, super desperate. The concept fits both for the storyline and for, you know, survivor's guilt. It was pretty crazy. Plus, it also was kind of romantic.
Did you send me that lyric? Those lyrics yet?
Yeah. Did you not get it? Yeah. I'm one of the few standing a survivor on a farm, just alongside the outskirts of a small city. Like most have made it this far. I live off old canned goods and a healthy back stock of ammunition. Greetings from Extermination, Kansas, death in the Midwest. Even with the godless reaching my property every few days, I am tortured by solitude. The whispering of the cornfields haunt me like the moans of the undead enemies. My depression grows stronger, its bitter claws around my neck. It almost sounds like a journal entry. Mm-hmm. I will always be tortured by solitude. Will anything get better for me? I have watched the world die. All I know now is regret. That was a crazy line. Like, imagine you're the last person standing. Like, literally, it's all regret. There's nothing left. There's no, like, you know, hope in a small child's face. Like, nothing. Like, it's just you. It's done, you know? That'd be just crazy.
Brutal. Yeah.
I've watched the world die. All I know now is regret. What I've known has been taken from me. I've watched the world die, and all I know now is regret. I'm one of the last few standing, a survivor on a farm. And it kind of repeats that. And he says, no one living has been with this house since my wife died 2 years ago. Another occasion of when the undead came across some innocence. That's crazy.
They got his wife.
Yeah, and then he said, I will never see through this nightmare. I will never know sunlight again. I will never see through this nightmare. I will never taste her lips again. Good lines. I really liked it. I like how, like, that vocal style when it gets, like, sort of desperate, which you would be if you were the last person standing. You know what? I always used to put myself in this dilemma where I was like, would I rather be alone in solitary confinement or with a really terrible roommate? I always pick the terrible roommate. You would always
pick the roommate.
I always pick the roommate. Even, like, I've tried different scenarios. I'm like, okay, the roommate is bad because of X, Y, and Z thing.
No, you would pick the roommate.
I always pick the roommate. I hate that I always pick the roommate, but I haven't come up with one yet.
Why do you hate that? You just...
That to me is like the worst. Like just to be like alone for like this guy. He's alone forever. The only people around are the undead. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't, like I said, I was not in the horror genre growing up as a kid because I always thought it was cheesy. But
that's why.
Yeah, I just thought it was. I mean, remember, it was the 90s.
The Trello board gave us a confetti because we checked off that we did the song. That's funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like...
Does it do that for all of them?
I've never seen it do that before, but I think it might be because we checked it off on the date that it was put on there.
Yeah, like... What would I do if I had the option? I'd probably... You're the only person I would be like, yeah, it's not so bad. You know what I'm saying?
What's not so bad?
Well, I mean, no disrespect to the rest of the world, but, like, you know, if the world blew up and shit, and me and you were the only survivors left, like, I would feel bad, but I'd get over it really quick. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being 100, like...
Yeah, I've seen, like...
It would happen. I would just be like, okay. Fuck, man, like, rest in peace to them niggas, but...
But at least you're still here.
But we're still here. We gotta do this. We gotta live. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're the only two... I'd be like, hey, God chose us to live. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna repopulate the world. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you know, and, you know, a lot of shit you don't have to worry about now.
Yep, that's true.
And this... No, you know what I'm saying? Like,
God works in mysterious ways.
But, like, when I'm looking at, like... Okay, the whole concept of the zombie thing... And I watch them. I'm like, they're so big and slow. Like I would.
That last batch wasn't.
There's no way. There's no way. Like that I would lose in that environment. Like, I really feel like. But then, if you watch, like a show with zombies in it, and it's a zombie show, you begin to see the inevitability of that world.
Yeah, because they're populating like that. Like they're just taking over all the other people.
Yeah, and
they come in a mob.
And like people don't understand the psychological aspect of warfare and combat is depends on who you talk to. You know, like the kinetic guys are like, no, it's about kinesis, but other people are like, well, actually, no, it's about cognition. And so you have these debates over and over and over again. But like, nobody's going to deny that. The ideation, there's a certain kind of ideation that's necessary to go to war because you're doing something that is so evolutionarily speaking heretical, which is to kill somebody in your own species.
Yeah.
That you have to have a whole bunch of surrounding meta-narratives over that in order for a normal person to cross that threshold.
Yep.
And so, like, just the mindset is completely different. But yeah, the big thing for me was just like the inevitability of it. And that's one of the things that like hit me with this guy. Like he's got a sword or whatever it was, but he saw that he was surrounded and he's like, and he just gave up and he gets eaten in the gym. I could never perceive myself to be that way. Because I always think to myself like there would be a way out.
But the question is why? Why would you want the way out? There's nobody left. He's been alive for 2 years after his wife.
Yes.
So, like, I mean, if I was in that situation, like, I would have let it go way before that. There's no way that I would just go around on this planet with nobody. The kids, you all gone? That's crazy. And you're just running from these zombies the entire time?
Yeah.
There's, like, literally nothing about that sounds fun to me. That's so depressing.
Where are you seeing the survivor's guilt?
Well,
what did he say?
I thought I did see... Well, I've watched the world die. All I know now is regret.
Yeah, I'd see that. Yeah, it's weird when you see people around you dying. That doesn't make me feel guilty. It just makes me feel like... I don't know. You start looking at the clock. You start doing math. You're like, all right, I'm this much. And I showed you that one with Mariana Rivera. And then Jeter, another guy, came out and said, "All right, man, it's over with. You're done." You remember that one?
No, keep going.
So Jeter, Rivera, and this white dude named Andy Pettitte, they all came up together. Mm-hmm. So like the legendary modern era of the Yankees, where we won like 5 world titles back to back, had the best record in one of the seasons, Jeter, A-Rod, all that shit.
This is when you guys were rivalries with the Red Sox, right?
I mean, I guess.
I'm just teasing you. Go ahead.
I mean, when I was down in the hood, like, y'all didn't win shit. We couldn't have named anybody from Boston.
Yeah.
We could even name the mayor. Like, we knew nothing about Boston.
There was no wins for like a really long
I'm just telling
time.
you, in the hood, like, we just didn't know.
Yep.
We just didn't know.
Anyway, go ahead.
But Mariano Rivera was the greatest closer in baseball history. And it was his last game. And what ends up happening is that your manager, the head coach of the team, basically, because, you know, they have a pitch count. It's like, all right, we can't let him get past 100 pitches, because when he gets past 100 pitches, then the ball slows down and the other guys are going to send it over the fence, so we need to switch him out. So what will happen is the manager will signal to the umpire, and the umpire says, all right, come on. And then the manager walks onto the field, takes the ball from the pitcher and smacks him on the bum and says, good job, you know, you're done for the day.
Okay.
And then the relief pitcher comes in and finishes the game. It's just a thing that happens.
That's literally, they do that every time?
That's how it happens in baseball, yeah. So Mariano's up there, you know, in his final game. And then Jeter, who's not the coach, not the team coach, not the manager, does the signal to the umpire. Mm. The umpire waves him across. So Jeter and Andy Pettitte meet Mariano at the mound, and for the last time, you know, give me the ball, like you're done. Like, so instead of just the coach doing it, it was the 2 guys that he grew up with.
Yeah, they all met him there.
They met him there, and like, you know, Mariano was crying, and they hugged him, kissed him. Because
this was going to be the last time?
That was his last time. Like, he was retiring. It was his last game, last pitch.
Wow, how significant.
So he was crying. They hugged him. They kissed him. You know, like, on, like, national TV. They know millions of people looking at him. Like, it's the last game. It's the Yankees. It's Jeter. And they were hugging. They had their little moment. And he took some of the dirt, and then he walked back to the, you know, clubhouse or whatever.
The one retiring took some dirt?
Yeah. And the crowd wouldn't let him just leave. So he had to go out there, and they call it a curtain call, where you take off your hat and you do this thing, you know, and you put it back on. But it was just anyway, the entire reason I'm telling that story a year ago, if you'd have told me, like, okay, you got 2 brothers, do who stays alive from the least likely to the last man standing, I would have said, me, I go first, then Junior, my older brother, and then Jamie, baby. I never had a conception in my mind that I would outlive my brothers. Never. So now my little brother's gone. I always think to myself, like, because it says when Lazarus died that the angels went to meet him, to take him or whatever. And I know my mother. Like, my mom would be like, yeah, I'll go get him. And Jesus would be like, well, I mean, usually angels, I mean, that guy was kind of assigned to your son the entire time of his life. I can just imagine my mom going, well, he didn't do a good job. The nigga's dead, so I'm going to go get him. And I could definitely see Jesus being like, all right, sorry, buddy. You can tag along, but she's going to go get him. But anyway, I don't know, like 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning last night. And God gave me that kind of picture, you know. Like, when it's your time, man, your brother's going to show up for you. They're going to show up and they're going to tell you, like, you're done. You know, Junior, my older brother, he's got this kind of, like... He's got this smile, like, when things are going bad, and, like, he finds some way to... He's always got some smile. So I'll remember, like... But anyway, it was just a picture I saw last night. Like... And he related that whole mound thing. Like, he's like, yo, that's what's going to be like. Your brother's going to come get you. So that was cool. Because that's the first time since April that I thought about my brothers. That it wasn't, like, completely debilitating. But yeah, that was a cool... That was a cool little picture.
Yeah, that is.
Because it was so random. I wasn't thinking about the Yankees. I wasn't thinking about Jeter. I wasn't thinking about none of that shit. But it popped into my head. And I was just kind of like living in that for a second. So, yeah. So it's a silent count for me. But it was a good song, though. I think the zombie thing is... the Western world trying to figure out what we believe.
Yeah, I think so too.
Is there a life after death? Or is this all we got? Because to me, it's kind of like, you know, when you talk about the undead, it's kind of the Western world's unbelieving way of saying, even if there was some way to live after death, it would be a significant downgrade. It would be hell on earth. Mm-hmm. You know, like we can't conceive of a resurrected person being upgraded. They got to be degraded because everything is so bad. But anyway, sorry to be such a downer, but it's just the shit that popped into my head, you know.
Yeah, but I think it was hopeful too. It wasn't.
Yeah, you know, Kai lost his baby brother too, so, you know, it's one of them things where it's like, yeah, like, if there's anybody that would show up to come get you, it'd be him for sure. But, you know, it's all good. That's the nature of the beast. Life goes on. It is what it is. Alright, the silent count for me.
I give this one a 9. This one is a 9 for me. You guys, we're coming right back with more songs. You know what it is. This is DJ Nick's Halloween metal stream, 1 of 4. Up next is Morbid Angel, so don't touch that dial.
You know, it never stops feeling different no matter how long time passes. My brother was killed in 2018 and every day is still weird. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Alright, we'll see you guys on the other side of the break. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. Morbid Angels next, you weirdos. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. What? Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSory. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sory and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We're in the midst of DJ Nick's Stream Extravaganza.
Up next is Morbid Angel Chapel of Ghouls.
22. Put some 22s down there to show your thanks. Chapel of Ghouls.
Morbid Angel.
By Morbid Angel. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. Morbid Angel was first formed in Tampa, Florida. Shout out to Florida.
That's where we're at. F-gang,
Yep,
F-gang.
that's right.
F-gang in this bitch.
In 1983 by metal guitar legend Trez Azagthoth.
Azagthoth.
After
Azagthoth. Thoth is Egyptian god, I think. Go ahead.
After several years of constant lineup changes, they put out their debut album, Altars of Madness, in May of 1989, and it's become one of the defining records of death metal. The song Chapel of Ghouls is a perfect example of this band's influence on modern extreme metal, with lightning-fast guitar riffs, chaotic bass lines, and Pablo Sandoval's blasting and multi-rhythmic drumming. Okay, let's check it out.
We'll be the judge of that, Mr. Pablo
Yes, we
Sandoval.
will.
Pablo Sandoval.
There's the lyrics.
We are here for the big homie DJ Nick. Thank you so much, DJ Nick, for being there for us on a Friday, coming through, sharing the joy of music and metal with the masses.
Yeah. And starting.
That is DJ Nick. Some of y'all think you slick. You think you can shoot, but it's really a brick. You know what? Let me show you a magic trick or treat. Move your feet when the guitar starts playing and I hit that sweep. Hey! You guys need to be a little bit meek, like Mill. No Diddy. Get it? Here we go! Morbid Angel!
Okay.
That's a little something for ya.
Yep.
Chapel of Ghosts, let's go. Looks with lyrics and images generated by AI. You know what? We should really get on that, dude.
Yep.
We should get some sort of... Okay, if you're an AI person, here's what I need, okay? This is a public service announcement, and anybody that gets us the right product is going to get a free song. But I need some sort of AI. I'm willing to pay for it, $100, $200 a year, whatever. But what I want is an AI video companion program or something or other that I can use, that I can basically tell it what to do while I'm creating a story. As a matter of fact, anybody that finds what I'm actually looking for, you'll get a 4-song stream. I will guarantee you that, free of charge. And it doesn't matter how expensive the application is. But if somebody can get me an application where you can make animations or videos based on, a prompting,
You put it, yeah.
let me know. Because there's a whole slew of shit that I've got in my head that is worth a lot of money to me. So if you can find that, send me an email, vinandsory@gmail.com. This is not a once... in a lifetime thing. Like, if you find it, we'll give you a 4-song stream for free. That's how important this is to me. I need an AI generator of animation, of moving animation. That's what I need. Okay. vinandsory@gmail.com if you have that down. All right, here we go. Let's watch it. This is Chapel of Ghouls by Morbid Angel. Let's do it.
Jesus. Stop.
That was our good friends from the band.
Okay.
What's
That
the name of the
was
band?
Morbid Angel.
Morbid Angel.
Chapel of Ghouls.
Chapel of Ghouls.
Okay.
Did you send me the lyrics, you ghoul?
I did. Where
are the lyrics, you ghoul?
Just check. Open up your messages.
You ghoul? Is it in your ghoul language or is it the right language?
Wow.
The way God intended us to speak.
Wow. I don't know why I'm being spoken to like this. Being called a ghoul in front of all these good people.
All these good people get
White woman in distress. I'm in distress. Okay. Seriously, guys.
God.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you this story. So Jesus comes to Earth, right? And
Rockin'
the
with it,
entire plan, he's gonna walk amongst us. He's going to suspend, like, hold back some of his godly power and just, like, go through this experience. And then the plan was for him to die on the cross as a holy sacrifice, right? So that sacrifice was going to make it, like, because he was God, he was going to die and then he was going to raise from the dead, solidifying that the sacrificial system was done and that man could now come back to God on that alone. So anyway, so you have this situation that happens in Christianity, and it's the devil, who people think is like almost like equal with God, but there's like a good side and a bad side, but it's not like that. It's like the devil's like this loser way down here, and God is like miles and miles. I can't even use the word miles above him.
Yeah,
it's
that's
ridiculous.
actually one of the biggest myths in the Bible, is that the devil is somehow the opposite of God. He's not.
Right, he's not.
The devil's not the opposite
There's
of
no.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay, so the devil. Wow, man, now I'm off my train of thought. Okay, yeah, so when Jesus is headed to the cross, it says that the devil like started inciting the crowd because they brought Jesus in front of the people and they brought this other guy in front of the people and they were like, pick which one of them you want us to let off. And they, like, in the crowd, it says, like, the devil was basically going around and being like, like, say Barabbas, say Barabbas. Yeah, and so they do. And so, but from a Christian perspective, because we're on this side of it, we're like, Christ was going to the cross, like, there was going to be no stopping it. And here's the devil thinking, oh my gosh, like, if we can get him on that cross, like, maybe we can really kill him. Like, he thinks that he's got this badass plan, but literally what's going on is that Jesus is going to that cross so he can conquer death and, like, steal, like, everything from the devil. Like, nothing, he was gonna have nothing. It was just gonna be, nothing but dust and crawling for him. But anyway, so when, like, I think of that scene and, like, what a massive blunder and, like, how stupid can Satan have been to have thought he really could do that. And, like, I don't know, like, it's like maybe his pride got too big or whatever. But anyway, so when I think about that, like,
maybe Satan's pride got too big.
That's probably, you know what I'm saying? Like,
maybe
I know.
Got kicked out of
for that very
Jannah,
reason. For that reason. He
to
obviously
be
didn't learn
equivalent with
anything.
God.
Yeah, he didn't learn anything. But I think it's like...
I'm just trying to support you. It says, none of the rulers' age understood this, for if they did, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory.
Idiots. So, when I think of that scene, it's like this really, like, stupid, basic, like, how could you have made this mistake? Hindsight must, be a bitch in the situation. So, this song, like, kind of like the way that... I'm sorry to everybody that loves this band, but the way that the lyrics were constructed and what they were saying, it just kind of felt like that same vibe. Like
the incompetent...
Ghouls attack the church, crush the holy priest.
Yeah, the incompetent demon in the DMV.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know, like, the lyrics, the way it was done, oh no.
Dead. Your God is dead.
Oh.
That's getting on Chris Barnes' level of songwriting. He said something like, you fools. There it is right there. Dead. Your God is dead. Fools. Your God is dead.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I just couldn't. Like, there were some of the guitar parts that I was like, hey, that's cool. Like, some of the, I don't know. But just like, I don't... I mean, I felt like laughing in the song.
On a serious note, nobody has to tell me that my brother's dead. Nobody has to tell me that. But people feel the need for 2,000 years to constantly remind us that Jesus is dead. Why is that? I'll tell you why. When my brother died, he died and he stayed dead. Jesus, when he died, he didn't stay dead. But they have got to keep saying that because they're not trying to convince me. They're trying to convince themselves that God is dead, not me. Because if he truly died and remained dead, there'd be no reason to remind me of it. I don't think like these folks like... Especially to somebody who's actually been through stuff. I'm not saying I've been through like more than the common person. I'm just saying like the Your God is Dead stuff is I can't tell you how like little effect it has on like I don't know, man. And it's a weird situation. I will say, like, one of the things about Trump that I heard, it was somebody on CNN, and I was like, that's actually what it is. They said, we're no longer looking at the same reality. We're no longer operating in a shared reality. And that's kind of like what it's like.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if somebody were to say to me, sorry doesn't exist, like, and then they were to like lay it out. Oh, who's the best cook you know? Sorry. Who's the best repair person you know? Sorry. Who's the prettiest person you know? Sorry. Who's the fill in the blank? Sorry. It's her across the board, right? Like, that's me, right? So what I'm saying is the relationship that me and her have is so important and so real, and we have memories, that if somebody were to say, oh, so you are with the most beautiful, most competent in the kitchen, best business partner, that sounds really too good to be true, you're not in a relationship with any girl named Sorry. If somebody were to say that to me, I'd be like, what? And they'd be like, she doesn't exist. I'd be like, Sorry doesn't exist? I literally got off the phone with her 5 minutes ago. No, she doesn't exist. That would not offend me. I wouldn't be offended. I would just say, okay. And she knows, like, when I'm arguing and I think the argument is dumb, I'll just say, okay, you're right, and I'm gone. Like, that is where my mind would be. So, like, when I have atheists who've never met me or whatever, no disrespect to atheists, but they'll say stuff like this, your God is dead, your sky daddy, blah, 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 he doesn't exist. Like, they truly believe, like, that's, like, some insulting thing. And it might be, like, if I was, like, a recent convert, but this has been literally my entire conscious life.
Yeah, yep.
Like, I was interfacing with this being and this consciousness before I did my parents. Like, I'm not gonna, get into the particulars, but you know what I'm talking about.
Do.
Like, this dude has been with me, like, in my conscious being before my parents were. So for somebody to tell me that he doesn't exist, like, it doesn't insult. Like, I'm not insulted. It's just kind of awkward. Like, okay, like, I'm telling you, I talked. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not gonna. It's gonna have to wait until the people in the white lab coats tell us that it's okay to believe that stuff. Like, all them, natives and indigenous people have been telling us about ayahuasca and dimensions and all this other shit, but now we're allowed to believe it because Joe Rogan and the rest of them folks.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, for me, like, that's what it is. Like, nobody's gonna convince me that God is dead or that he doesn't exist, because it's like, I know this person, it's just the only constant reality I've ever had in my life, because things change so much, like, like where I was in our environment. But that's something that's never changed. The same feeling, the same, like, when he's around, I know familiar, it. When he's talking, I know it. Like, I don't need some white folks in a white lab coat to say, well, extra-dimensional telepathic communication is actually feasible when you look at quantum entanglement and blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't need those people to validate the fact that I'm married to you. I know that there's a lot of attributes that are too good to be true. And there's a lot of, like, Hollywood shit about it that doesn't make any sense. I don't care. Like, I'm blessed, okay. But I used to be like that, though. Like, I used to be like, oh, like, this person doesn't believe in God. How come? And I get all, like, crazy about the apologetics and shit. And, like, I could still do apologetics, but, like, I feel like a lot of apologetics is people who are not convinced about the Christian faith trying to find a reason to believe. Like, it seems to me like a lot of these apologetics groups are kind of like that. Like, really? They have doubts that they're doubtful people themselves. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, I just got to a point where I was just like, I want other people to meet this person. But if I'm trying to convince you because I'm doubting in my faith, and if I can get an unbeliever to believe something, now I can look back and say, oh, this has got to be real. Look, this unbeliever just did it. It's the same thing that happens.
What you think they're doing?
It's the same thing that happens with Christian parents when their kids start apostatizing and they go crazy because it's highlighting to them, they lived in the same environment that you did, and now they're rejecting this message, and now it stokes up their insecurity in their own faith, in their own doubts, because they haven't actually wrestled with them. And so they're making it sound like they're so worried and concerned about the kid. But the kid fully and finally walking away from the religion says a lot to the parent about that religion, and they don't want to face that eventuality because they're going to have to look internally. Either you weren't the kind of parent you thought you were, or your daughter might be right and the whole thing could be bullshit and she's just brave enough to do it and you're not because you've crossed an event horizon because you're 55 years old and you've been doing this shit for the last 38 years. So it's not like you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so because of that, now when the kid expresses doubt, I'm going to go crazy on him because now if you truly walked away, it would make my faith insecure. Because now I got to start asking the same questions. But if I can convince you to come back, now I can say, wow, this shit is really real. Look, she tried to escape and I got her back, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you're not confident in your own specific walk with God, like, it becomes a nightmare for the people around you. Because you're stuck in conversion mode every 2 seconds. But the conversion is not about, like, you know what Jesus said? Like, you guys go across land and sea for a single convert. And then the kid is twice the son of hell as you. He's worse. He's double worse than you. So, yeah. So when I see things like that, like crush the priest, the feeble church, the family of dog, like to me, the church is the most durable organization that the world has ever seen. There's never been an explosion of a religion where the sword was pointing in one direction for 300 years. It's never happened. I always talk to my atheist friends, say, extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. No, they don't. But I'll just go with it. People ask me, well, what's your evidence for the resurrection? I say, well, the entire socio-religious political landscape was completely flipped within 40 years. It's never happened before or since. Go find me one. You won't find one. Something happened with that Jesus movement that's never happened before or since. It's impossible for it to be replicated because of some of the Daniel stuff. I've never really told you about that stuff, but timeline-wise, it's impossible for the Messiah to show up at least the first time if he didn't show up when Daniel said he was supposed to. But that's a different discussion. Anyway, the song, I liked the guitar work on it. The lyrics were... I don't know if the English is the guy's first language. That's the other thing. Maybe English isn't his first language, and so that's why the lyrics are like super simplistic.
Yeah.
But Crush the Priest, the Feeble Church.
They were first formed in Tampa, Florida. I guess that could still be, though. You don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
There's one thing though that kind of continues, and that's the idea that the devil rules hell. So like. That goes with the dualism concept where the devil, his jurisdiction is hell and Jesus' jurisdiction is heaven, and if you die in your sin, you get sent to hell where Satan rules over you, whatever. That's not true.
Are you going to the
I'm going
why hell was made?
I'm going to the same one, but it is actually pretty instructive. Because he said your God is dead, and of course there is a sense in which that was true, but not in the way that he wants. So if you go here, so this is Jesus talking, I'm the living one, and he says, I died, so you're right, my God did die, and behold, look, I'm alive forever. I'm never going to be able to die again. And I have the keys of death and Hades. I have them. They're filming the Passion of the Christ part 2, the resurrection. They're spending a lot of time in hell, Because the idea is that Jesus, in the 3 days between his death and resurrection, went down to hell, slapped the shit out of the devil in front of all of his people, and then he says, matter of fact, run that shit, nigga. Give me them keys. Give me them keys, nigga. Let me hold something. That's what he says. Hey, yo, let me hold something. And you
take it all?
Yeah, and then hell was like, yo, you gonna let him do that to you, Lucy? Hey, you gonna let him do that to you? Nigga just snatched your chain in front of everybody, bro. That's the idea, where Jesus says, I have the keys of death and Hades. The idea is he just went and snatched him. Give me that. What you mean? That's why the devil, he's like, look at all these kingdoms in the world. I'll give them to you if you just bow down to me. He's like, nigga, I'm going to take all the world, and I'm going to take the underworld, and I'm taking the underworld from you. We good. So the devil's like, all right, I know. Oh, you're gonna take the keys away from me. You're gonna take away the keys of death and hell. I know how I'm gonna fix you. What's the plan, boss? We're gonna have this nigga crucified, bro.
Mm-hmm. But look, you put the wrong one.
He said, we're gonna have these people crucified. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's crucify him. Dummies.
Idiots.
Yeah, it was Samael, it wasn't Lucy. It was Samael, not or it could have been Shemyaza. Shout out to the big homie Shemyaza. Sorry, buddy. You had to see all your kids die in such a horrible fashion. But that's what you get. Yep. Touching strange flesh and all that shit. But yeah, like that's how it went down. It's you know, like I'm not mad at them. I think we should let these guys live. Lyrically, you know, I think Orion probably could have written something a little bit more challenging lyrically.
On that note,
then Ghouls attack the church.
Crush the holy priest.
Crush the holy.
That's Reza comes in with his line.
Well, Reza's already he's already working out his little packet to send to the agency. Apparently,
gosh,
he was you know,
he had Reza's 3. I mean, they only watch like little kid shows, nothing crazy. I don't even know. He comes out, he's got a blanket wrapped around like a little baby. He's like, oh, my little baby. He starts kissing it. He walks across the room, and then his brother comes around the corner. He drops the sheet off of it. It looks like it's another toy that kind of looks like it resembles a gun. He takes it out. He goes, ha! He starts shooting out, and I was like, what? He's laughing like this, like, evil bad guy maniac laugh. I was like, what? He was like, you thought it was a baby. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's like what they say, 8, 8, 17, 14, 16. If you know, you know.
He had that thing wrapped up real good.
Yeah, this song, I mean,
man,
this song is
it's a 4 for me.
It was a little bit childish to me, but instrumentally speaking,
I liked that. Yeah,
they were. How could you give it a 4 with the kind of instrumentation they had?
It's just
you're just mad because they said something against God or whatever.
What? No, stop! You're being ridiculous. No, I can't get over the lyrics, babe.
But that's like when you're in the hood and you got the friend and he's quiet, but you know your friend is a killer. And then you got the loudmouth kid and the kid is like, yeah, that's why you're not saying nothing. And you're like, yo, bro. Like, for real. Like, whoever wrote this, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo. That ain't it. That ain't it. Okay. All right. What did you say you gave it?
I gave it a 4.
All right. This thing deserves a 9.2 at least for the instrumentation. Instrumentally, it was crazy. You got to admit that.
Yeah.
I loved it.
4 for me.
We will be back on the other side of the break, dear listener. We are truly Christians, but you know, it be what it be.
What year did it come out?
What year did it come out? Oh, that's true. You gotta give some concessions to that too. Probably in the 90s.
Yeah.
Probably in the 90s. We will see you guys on the other side of the break. We got more metal because you have a friend named DJ Nick. You got a friend named DJ Nick, and he made sure that we got some metal and some fun and fellowship
Tonight.
and interesting subject matter to discuss, debate, etc.
Speaking of fun,
DJ Nick, good
Rob
job,
Zombie
homie.
up next.
Sean James in this bitch. Shout out to Nebraska. We will see you on the other side of the break, baby. Baby.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull
You
that
can
off.
also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee,
Can't
a
guarantee
positive
you
review.
A positive review.
Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Sorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Buy merch indeed, Charles shall lead them. We got 2 Shaws in the house. We got Sean that was featured in the actual commercial that we just saw, Overshadow Sean in this bitch. And we also have the big homie Sean James in this bitch. But beyond that, dear listener, do you know who else we have in this bitch?
We have Rob Zombie
Robert
featuring Jesus
Zombie.
Frankenstein.
Featuring Jesus Frankenstein?
Yep.
Featuring Jesus Frankenstein.
No. I mean, I just threw the word in there because, you know.
Jesus Frankenstein is the name of this song, dear listener.
All right.
As if
Let's
you
see.
didn't
Our
put a Christian
DJ.
React to with all this stuff on it. What's wrong with you?
You know, babe, I literally did everything to set up for the stream, and I made a couple misses along the way.
Shout out to Punisher Batman fan. Recently discovered your channel. Loving what I've seen so far. Just wait, my brother or sister.
There you go.
Just wait.
We don't have anything to say, from our DJ, but I do want a timestamp.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? He might have... Hold on, wait. Before I say that, let me go back to his board.
Oh my goodness.
Just want to make
now
sure.
this kid can see how organized we are.
Okay, nope. Yeah, there's nothing here. Just
There's nothing here. All right.
I checked both boards.
Video
We've got the
dis-
lyrics.
Did you get the timestamp for
Yeah.
what do you call it? Mm-hmm. You do? Mm-hmm. You do? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good.
You don't believe me?
I'm pretty shocked, but that's good though. That's a good thing. We're making progress, inshallah.
Look. See?
Yeah, you did. All right, here we go. Okay, so for Rob Zombie,
245.
do 235, 243.30, 243.30. Okay, so Punisher Batman fan is a brother. Well, come and welcome, brother. Good to have you here. For real, for real. Welcome to the village. Gotham is yours.
Yes,
Gotham is yours. Gotham is yours. Are you gonna let me know when we're ready to rock and roll?
Oh yeah. Go for it. Go for it.
All right,
I already
here
sent
we
you
go.
the lyrics, I believe.
Here we go. You got the lyrics on the way. Here we go. Rob Zombie, Jesus Frankenstein with the lyrics. Pay attention, y'all. Here we go. Be quiet.
Sounds
I
like
don't
some
know.
Screaming.
No idea. No idea.
Okay. What?
So this is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah. Well, I agree, and this one is interesting to me.
Did you send me the lyrics?
Check. I believe I did. This one was interesting to me because it was like I said on the last song. I don't like the basic like ding 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 lyrics like that.
Mm-hmm.
I did send it to you. But these also had like basically 3 words in a line lyrics, but I experienced it completely different.
Really?
Yeah, it was fun. Like the minute that it started, like the chant was so like easy, and the lyrics were
What,
right
the All
there.
Hail Jesus Frankenstein?
Well, before it got to that point, because I was like not sure.
Yeah,
By the time I got to that point, I was like, "Wait, what am I saying here?"
Nick, I'm right on. Rob Zombie's what do you call that? Industrial, right? Would you? I know he's got some electronica and stuff. I don't know what the actual like term for Rob Zombie is, but I'm pretty sure he's an industrial guy. He's definitely not progressive, bless God. Go ahead.
Okay.
Is that
No, a lot of times I don't think, oh, what genre does this fit into? But you think more like that. So when it got, I was a little bit confused, I'll be honest. Like, it kind of sounded like, I don't know if this was his way of talking about Jesus' resurrection, but making it like, like fingers of a madman, arms of a hoax, hands of deception. Like, are we talking about Jesus when we're saying all those things? Or what's going on
I mean, I think, it's just art. It's probably just all open interpretation.
Redeemer of the witches. I thought that was such a cool part.
Yeah, he became the Redeemer of the witches. That line to me said that he was some sort of like, like anti-religious type folk hero type dude. See what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Because it makes it sound like he overcame the religious institution, or he was trying to overcome the religious institution for the witches. Fingers of a madman, arms of a hoax, hands of deception, slide under the cloaks. Behold, he is sickness. Hallowed be thy name. Redeemer of the witches is what he became. All hail Jesus, body of a prophet, hands of a snake, mind of a devil, walking among the fakes. As you perceive him, hallowed be thy name. Into the blackness, into the vein. All hail Jesus Frankenstein.
So what do you think is going on? You think he's talking about like, maybe his perceptions of Jesus in the different things, and like when he pieces all those together, it's like this Frankenstein sort of character, or what do you think's going on?
Eyes of a dog of a sideshow,
I was
teeth
wondering
of
if
a
they were talking
dog,
about John the
face
Baptist.
of a marvel, wander in the fog, into ragged mountains, savior of the breed, vandal of the vultures, begging you to feed. I don't know. I think he's talking about a messianic pretender. I don't think he's talking about the real Jesus.
Okay.
So it's like the guy has
I see. Yeah, okay.
the appearance of a prophet, but he's not really a prophet because you can, he's got the eyes of this, but he's got the teeth of a dog. Mm-hmm. Eyes of a sideshow, teeth of a dog, face of a marvel, wander in the fog. So he's got these contradictory sort of attributes that makes him, it looks like he's charismatic. Savior of the world, vandal of the vultures, begging you to feed. Like, the vulture is like the worst of all the vandals, if you think about it. I mean, they're stealing dead bodies. Like, they're consuming dead bodies. So he says, vandal of the vultures. So this guy's so bad that he can vandalize vultures, who are like the worst vandalists in the world. You see what I'm saying? Because they're desecrating the dead by consuming them.
Yeah.
So this guy he's just like the epitome of like the bad guys. And Frankenstein is also an interesting idea because it's again, we just talked about zombies. Mm-hmm. Frankenstein is not a zombie, but he again is another representation of a resurrected human.
Yeah.
But he does not get an upgrade; he gets a downgrade. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's again, it's just embedded in the Western mind.
Yeah.
the concept of resurrection because the Western world is built on Christianity. But at the same time, the modernist and postmodernist meant to say that's all bullshit and wishful thinking.
So
what
does your mind do
in
with
that milieu, you create something like this.
Yeah.
You know? So I just, that is a really fascinating way to look at it. And then when you combine religion with it, arms of a madman, fingers of a madman, arms of a hoax. You know, it's really interesting, like, when I think about the Western mind, because we've dumped off... See, one of the things that people don't understand is that... And I think that the internet atheism produced millions of people like this, unfortunately. But... How do I want to say this?
The type of people that the internet atheists.
Yeah, I just don't think I can say it without people getting like mega offended, and that's not the point of what I'm trying to communicate. So, just continue.
All right. So, I can see what you're saying about the, like, Vandal of the Vultures begging you to feed all hail Jesus Frankenstein. You're looking at it more like this is a false Messiah type Jesus figure.
It's as hopeful as the secular mind can come up with as it deals with the cognitive dissonance it has between the upbringing of being in the Christian West while simultaneously carrying the doubts and arrogance of postmodernism. Mm-hmm. You know, and so you put both of those together into a stew, and you keep coming up with things like Frankenstein or things like zombies or vampires, which, again, another one that defies death. But vampires are interesting because many times you get upgraded as a vampire. Like in Twilight, you definitely were an upgrade in Twilight.
I guess
when you
became... Say that.
Well, I mean, she got all these superpowers. She's able to walk and tell, tell
you're
the
right,
future and all this shit. So, but you did that by taking part in a ritual where you're consuming blood, which is very interesting. Mm-hmm. Because the idea is if you consume this blood, you'll be able to have something of a fountain of youth, which is a play on what Jesus said. Unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life in you. Mm-hmm. For my flesh is real food and my blood is real drink. And this is the bread that came from heaven that a man may eat and not die. And so the zombie Frankenstein thing is the sort of secular take at resurrection. The vampire thing seems to be the secular take at eternal life. Because Jesus is talking about you'll have eternal life, your youth will be renewed, etc., etc. And what happens? This vampire consumes this blood and it renews his youth. Mm-hmm. And it makes it so that he technically lives forever. So it's very, very interesting. Like
That's
us trying to deal with these things and figure them out. And in this song, it looks to me like this Jesus Frankenstein guy is not actually Jesus, but he's some sort of a messianic figure, and he's out there trying to convince people to follow him, but it really just turns out to be a death cult.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me.
Into the blackness, into the vein. I wonder why it says into the vein.
What do you mean, into the vein? The blackness into the
yeah.
vein? Well, because that tells you that the evil is intravenous. Mm. You can't get more embedded into a human being than
straight into the vein.
Their veins, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's just a way of saying that the evil becomes like intravenous here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I liked this one. The cadence.
That's crazy.
Of it.
Like the secular world would much rather a Jesus Frankenstein than the real Jesus. So that's the crazy part. Not even close. But they're not gonna get that one though. You're not getting that one. Go ahead. What do you got?
I like the cadence of this one. Like I said, it was the lyrics were fun to kind of like sing along with. I chilled out when I got to all hail Jesus Frankenstein because I was like, wait a minute, what am I saying here? So I like chilled out a little bit, but I wanted to like keep going with it. It would just I liked the sound of it. I'm giving this one a solid 9.
I would be so confused if I was a secularist. This guy was around for 3.5 years. How in the world does he have so many people obsessed about him? Like, I understand Muhammad. Like, you had 23 years, bro. Like, you could do a lot of shit in 23 years. And their ambitions were well outside of Saudi Arabia. Jesus was like, yeah, just go to the lost sheep of the house. 3.5 years, dies on a Roman cross, changes the entire world to this day. Like,
Yeah.
In 3.5 years, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Craziness. It's all true. This is get a 9.3.
I gave it a 9.
All right, Overshadow Sean gave it a 9.1.
It's not overlooked, babe. When I put this check mark, we're going to see the confetti. Poof.
Oh!
It's so cute.
Oh, the celebrations.
I like it.
We have
It
more
looks like a
music coming your way.
Iron Maiden is up next, and then our final secretive song, because we couldn't play it at the beginning, will be after that.
We're going to play that Septicflesh Vampire from Nazareth last, because we fear that it might result in a block. If we get blocked, just go over to the Rumble side. You'll be able to finish the rest of the video. But right now, we're going to do an Iron Maiden song on the other side of this break, you beautiful people.
We'll be right back.
Let's check it out. Nobody can understand Muhammad. The man married a 6-year-old.
It's uncontested.
I always have like this, like, should I talk more about that? Should I not? Out of respect to the prophet? I don't know.
Understand. That is so confusing to me, because anytime we ever have a discussion about pedophiles, you're always like, fuck that, fuck blah, 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 blah.
You should die.
Right. But for some reason, Muhammad gets some kind of pass, and I don't even understand. He's the only one that's in that category that you have any grace for.
That's a fair criticism. All right, we will see you on the other side of the break there, listener.
On that note.
Break time coming up. Punisher Batman fan up in this bitch. Punisher and Batman should do a movie together. That would be sick. Because they're both dark, but Punisher's thing is, vengeance.
I think we started something on Punisher, but I think it was like a lot for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, more death, more death.
More death! Commercial break! I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Buy merch indeed. Ciao, Charlita.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. This is Iron Maiden.
Fear of the Dark.
Fear of the Dark. Live at Rock in Rio in 2001. Listen. As you know, from time to time, the fascists over there in YouTube world will shut down our broadcast because we play videos and we do not stop every 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds to avoid the copyright hit. We take the copyright hit because we don't need the AdSense, because we have Patreon and then we have other ways to do it so that you guys don't get shortchanged on the video and we can still feed our families. However, even though that is still active and it's happening, the other side of that is that you won't be able to see the rest of the review. What we have done is we have stood up another channel at rumble.com. All you got to do is rumble.com. You go in there in the thing, you type Vin and Sawyer. We're going to pop up as the first group you're going to see. Click on that to watch the rest of these videos, okay? So that's only going to be pertinent for you if this Iron Maiden and the Septicflesh song don't pan out. Having said that, and I like Punisher Batman already because he just said that there's some goats over there in Iron Maiden. So that's that. That's my new homie. Maybe I'll put him on my phone screen. All right, here we go. Fear of the Dark, live at Rock in Rio, bitches. Let's go!
A light in the black, or just a fear of the dark. Dark room, a strolling through the park. When the light begins to fade, sometimes feel a little strange, a little anxious when it's dark. Fear of the dark. Fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always there. Fear of the dark. You. Fear of the dark. Have a phobia. Someone's always there.
There it is. Look how young those people are! Gang, gang, gang.
When I'm walking a dark road, I am the man who walks alone.
Whoa there, Brucey baby.
That's a good one.
Whoa there, Brucey baby.
There's a couple of themes in this one that
Fear
I
of
like.
the dark. Fear of the dark. I got something.
Yeah, it's
something,
catchy.
something.
It's catchy.
Something.
I would concentrate that something's always near.
Something. Fear of the dark. Fear of the dark. Go ahead.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Go
I
ahead.
didn't know if you wanted to keep serenading.
Well, you know,
Our entire-
Bruce freaking Dickinson, as they say. Bruce freaking Dickinson in this freaking bitch. Go ahead.
Well, it made me think of a couple of things. One is, I remember hearing, like, people saying, oh, when I was a kid, like, I had this, like, friend that would, like, follow me around, was in my house or whatever, and I would tell my parents I was talking to it. They were, like, seeing something. But nobody else was
like
seeing
imaginary
something.
friend
Yeah,
type-
like an imaginary
type
friend,
energy.
but then
Okay.
it was like, you know, and then, you know, some of them would express things like, it got to a certain point and then that thing kind of like turned on them, kind of got like evilish and they got scared of it or whatever. When he's talking about these, but sometimes the parents don't believe that the kids are seeing anything. That's why it doesn't matter. Like, if my kid calls me into the room and tells me that they're scared of, I can't even understand the word because sometimes they're crying, you know, I just pray with them because I don't know what they may or may not be seeing. And obviously, if there are realms other than just the physical plane, and there are supernatural beings or whatever you want to,
Extra dimensional beings.
yeah, right, interdimensional or whatever, then they may see something that you don't see. And so why would I tell my kid there's nothing there, you know, if I don't know if they saw something that was, you know, whatever. So I'm like, I never say something's not there. What I say is, we'll pray. Then I pray, you know, and I pray for the angels to come and stuff like that. And Reza, like, always wants to be prayed for. It's super cute. But yeah, like, it's a cool like experience too, to be able to give something, like, instead of telling your kid there's nothing there and then walking out of the room, to like pray over them and see them like kind of like calm down.
That's also kind of a cautionary tale, because I was reading this thing where the girl kept saying there was a monster under the bed, and the parents would laugh at her, and it turned out that like the local like child kidnapper was literally sleeping under her bed, and there's one in a closet in a clown costume. So the girl kept saying that there was a clown in her closet, and everybody was laughing, ha ha ha. So the dad finally went up there, and sure enough, there's a dude in her closet, dressed up like a clown. I'm like, bruh. That's one of those things where, like, you just send up a prayer, like, Lord Jesus, please don't put me in that situation, bruh. So I open the door, there's some clown there, bro. It's over with. Like, what? You're in my daughter's room? Man. Go ahead, just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, so that, and that, like, did you ever get that? Because you love the friggin' dark.
I do.
Yeah, so did you ever have a point in time where you were...
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it. Oh, all right, what about it? What about being born into the dark?
Well, like, I always had a issue with the dark unless I could see the beauty in the dark.
Okay.
But you seem to, like, I remember you said when you were a kid you'd play video games in the dark. Was that because of your headaches, or was that just, like, you liked the dark?
I really think for me, when I was a kid at that age, I wanted to be in the world of the video game. So I didn't want to see anything else. I didn't want to see anything. I didn't want to... The only world I wanted to see or hear from was that. You see what I'm saying? If I would have been able to have headphones when we were playing video games, it'd be over with. If I was a kid now, it would be over with. I would be playing professionally as a video game player.
Oh, I believe it, yeah. You'd have a personality for it, too.
Especially with the kind of life that these kids have. Go ahead, continue.
So did you ever have that feeling, like when you were in the dark, like, oh, there's something watching me, or what's over around that corner, like peeking out, not wanting to look at the corner? You hear footsteps, you turn, there's nobody there.
Well, I mean, one time it was Unsolved Mysteries, and it was in the daytime. We were watching the show, and the dude basically killed his wife. But they were married, and they were living in the same house, and that just, like, fucked me up, because you always hear about stranger danger and all this, right?
Yeah.
So, like, for the guy to be in the house, to be married to the person that he killed, that really fucked me up, because I was like, wait a second. So, before we went to bed, my mom, read us a little Bible story about Jesus being tempted by the devil. I'll never forget it, because Junior took the bottom bunk, I took the top bunk. And at like an hour or two later, I just couldn't do it. I got up and I went upstairs, and it's the only time I ever did it in my life. But I went into my mom's room, and I slept. She let me on the bed or whatever. I was terrified, and I didn't tell her about. She thought because the picture book had the devil in it that the devil spooked me. I didn't care about the devil. I wasn't worried about him. Like, I always felt like, well, just get Jesus. He'll fuck up the devil. But I'm like, this is in this world. Like, Jesus didn't save that lady from her crazy ass husband who killed her. Like, what the hell? Like, what kind of world am I in? Like, it was like first real realization that, like, 5, 6. But it was really my first realization that, like, yo, like,
oh my gosh.
And you'd have thought, considering everything that I had seen up to that point, I would have already known that. But I just didn't make the correlation. And yeah, it freaked me the fuck out. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was never really into Jason and all that stuff. Like, it couldn't scare me because I didn't think it was possible. So when I watched that show, and I know that it happened in real life, and the cops, like, they had to do all this work to try to catch him. And I was like, yo. Yeah, so, like, it terrified. I was scared to death. Like, so, yeah, so that type of stuff,
wow,
I would get that feeling for sure, but I would never turn on the light.
Okay.
I would just say, yeah, like, you're scared, but, like, when you get into the video game world, you're not going to worry about it, and it usually worked out that way. So, that, and there was one time I was convinced that there was a guy in the house, in the room, and I was having one of them night whatever thingies, and
like paralysis, sleep paralysis?
Yeah, sleep paralysis, because like it was right.
Oh, you were having
it was right at the door, and I looked and I saw it, and it was the outline, and I'm like,
yeah.
And you know me, so I said, we got to attack it, because if it's really there, then I'm just a sitting duck, and I'm not going to let it come to me. I'm just going to go to it. You see what I'm saying? So I did my little thing. Like, I have this thing. Like, I have this rule. I'll tell you offline, but I have this rule. Like, if I say this particular phrase, it has to be done, no matter what it is. You have to do it as soon as you say X, Y, Z thing. So I just sat there, said the little phrase, and then jumped off the top bunk and attacked. And it was...
Seriously?
Yeah, and it was a coat rack. And none to do... No, it was... I said, I said, that's what everybody's been talking about. Okay. So after that, like, I never... And anytime I saw any shadows or shapes or whatever, I'd just be like, man, it's just a coat rack, whatever. And,
when you said that's what everybody's been talking about, what do you mean?
Well, because, my mom would talk about it, like, sleep paralysis and all this shit. My mom, everything was supernatural with Pentecostals. But, yeah, like... I woke up because I'm not that heavy of a sleeper. I looked, there's this outline of this guy, and I'm just like, I can't sit there and just let it come to me.
So what do you think that it was?
It was literally a coat rack.
Oh, so you don't think you were having sleep paralysis?
No, No, it was I looked and I saw, and it looked like the appearance of a person, and there was all this suggestion because we lived in a, quasi superstitious family.
Okay.
So I put two and two together, but I just said to myself, well, I mean, if there's a person in my room, me sitting there and being quiet is not going to solve that problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just ran and rushed and attacked him, and it was the freaking coat rack, man. It's ridiculous. So after that, I said, oh, okay, well.
That's cute. I mean, just didn't have to terrify
It's just
you.
the coat rack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I didn't really relate to being afraid of the dark until after I saw that episode of they should have never let me watch that show.
Yeah, no kidding.
It was a pretty bad show. But like my mom was cooking and all this shit, so it was like a back and forth type of shit. But I was really like drawn to the screen because it was a family and they lived in the suburbs and the neighborhood looked like our neighborhood and all this, So I was really like, what the hell? But man, Iron Maiden is just so crazy with the guitars, man.
Yeah.
What they can do vocally and instrumentally, like I'm really like we should probably have a week where it's like your favorite band's worst song. Like I would love to do a week where it's like this is your favorite band's worst song.
That's funny.
Because I'm like,
yeah.
I would like to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like I forgot, we'll come up with some name or something like that. But anyway,
I have some ideas that I can piggyback on that with.
So, Vin, you grew up Pentecostal. What denomination did Soy grow up in? Yeah,
Same.
Yeah.
Same. My parents were Catholic, but they left the Catholic Church when I was like 3 years old. So I don't aside from feeling like kind of scared around statues, I don't really have much memory of the Catholic Church. And I don't even know if that's memories I had before, when I was before 3 years old anyway. And then my parents were Pentecostals after that, all the way through till I joined that kind of cult thing, which was...
Yeah, Hunter says, sorry, grew up in the cult. Look at this. Yeah.
No, I didn't... Well,
so she held you down like no answer, but answer me this one, brother. Can Soy mix up some serious jerk chicken? Listen to me. I introduced my Jamaican parents, my Jamaican side of my family to Sori. She does better Jamaican food than my Jamaican family. Like I'm not even lying. It's not even close. Oxtail, curry, the whole nine. Dumpling. She's the greatest. She's the GOAT. That's why I tell my sons, I'm like, listen, don't look at your mother and think that you're gonna find a girl don't look at her as the model, because she's not. If you have a girl that's this attractive, she's not going to be like that in the kitchen. It's not going to happen.
You always sing my praises, babe. It's so cute.
No, it's just not. No, it's not even about that. It's about like giving the girl a fighting chance. If she turns out to be a scintilla as beautiful as you are, the likelihood of her being as hard of a worker as you, doing a 2-minute plank and 10 push-ups, and then the kids and all the other shit, like the business acumen, man, it's not realistic. So I'm trying to divorce proof as best I can. It's not even about being nice to you. It's just, I know, I'm like, they're going to walk around thinking that this shit is the norm. No, it's not. It's not the norm. But anyway, Fear of the Dark. Fear of the Dark. I'm going to have to give this one a 10, man. I haven't listened to Maiden in a year. Like I'm pretty religious about if it's not, I'm not gonna listen to any new music.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
If it's not on this, then I'm
yeah.
Generally not gonna listen unless it's a rap songs.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a metal song, like I will not listen to anything until it comes through here first for obvious reasons.
I would add like Hunter. I would you can answer for yourself, but I would say that I lean more toward like Pentecostal, as in I believe in the gifts, all of them, like the, prophecy, the gift of tongues, like all kinds of that stuff, like the gifts of healing. I believe that all those things are active, faith, hope, love, all those things. Like I'm with all of that stuff. I guess I don't want to say like I don't like that we like made this thing where we're like all divided up into different groups, and then the groups fight over how they see those verses and stuff. Like I think the councils were a good idea, where we worked it out, and then that was the decision, and then we pushed forward together instead of breaking up into all these factions. But I mean, I think that God can still work in a lot of different circumstances. But I would say I like the energy of the like. I don't even know if it would be considered Pentecostal. Charismatic, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that you're more charismatic than Pentecostal.
Right, yeah. Thank you.
My mother was Pentecostal. But you were more charismatic, you know.
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay, we got one more song
I'm gonna give this
on the way.
I'm giving this one a 9.4.
I gave it a 10. It's Iron Maiden. It's.
I mean, it's definitely really good.
It's also the commitment that they have to being good live. Like, there's a lot of bands, especially like an established band that made it, that it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to sell out and people are going to say it's a great show. Mm-hmm. When you see all that sweat matted to this man's head, I mean, he's belting it. The guitarist, the guy looked like he was 50-something, still jumping around, half inch off the ground, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're still investing the energy into the music, still understanding these people paid you good. And again, that's why I told everybody, look at the crowd in Iron Maiden. Like, people throw around the term goat so much now, it's like completely useless. Like, think about Iron Maiden. Mm-hmm. Think about the fact that it's like one of our guys came in here, a new dude, and he said, like, they're the goats. Think about how young these audience people are, and then think they're in the front row, and then think to yourself, how much money would it cost to get in the front row of a band that big and legendary, especially in the modern era where it's few and far between. That means that they've got seriously committed fans.
Yeah.
Who were born at the 20-year anniversary of one of the songs that became their favorite songs. Like, that is goated. That's when it's that now you're talking about something different. It's like, if I were to show a kid in this day and age a Michael Jordan highlight reel, they would say, this guy is insane.
Yeah.
They'd say he's crazy.
Yes.
Steph Curry's your hero, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But that's because a lot of these new jacks haven't seen what Jordan did to people. And just the and just how beautiful the game was.
Graceful, yeah.
It was he's just beautiful to watch. Like, that is Iron Maiden. Like, they've hit that level. And, like, for them to be that high and still care, like, that's just crazy to me. You that's so crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to raise it. 9.8. I'm going to go with a 9.8.
I'm a Messianic Jew who attends Episcopal Church. It's all about relationship with Christ, not about religion. Bro, there's this dude named Radar, and he's like our age, kind of our speed, and he's a rabbi, but he's modern. Like, he's got some crazy stuff on Deuteronomy 6, like really crazy stuff where you got, what's his face? Philo using the term triad instead of Trinity hundreds of years before Cyprian. It's just crazy.
So anyway, that's Radar? Like
Yeah, Radar Apologetics.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we got one more song for you beautiful people. I gave it a 10. Sori gave it a
9.8.
All right, here we go. We got one more song left. It's by the band Septicflesh. It's The Vampire from Nazareth.
Of Nazareth.
Of Nazareth. Well, it says from Nazareth here.
Okay, then go with that.
Vampire from Nazareth live. There is a possibility that this song is going to get copyright struck. If that's the case, don't worry. Go to Rumble and we'll still be there midstream. Okay, having said that, dear listener.
Wait. I got to get the timestamp.
Yep, timestamp.
I'm going to read the intro.
Timestamp is 3:34:30.
Okay. We have Septicflesh The Vampire of Nazareth DJ Nick says Septicflesh are a symphonic death metal band from Athens, Greece, formed in 1990 by brothers Spyro and Christos Antonou, along with guitarist Soterios Vianas. The Vampire of Nazareth is from their 2011 album, The Great Mass, which has been praised as one of the best symphonic metal albums of all time.
Whoa.
The song features the haunting vocals of a choir and a creepy string and horn section, which combined with Spyro's growling vocals sends chills up and down one's spine.
There it is again. That's the second time you said that.
Well, that's because this was the intro to the first song, and then we had to move it to the end. So we read this before.
Oh, that's a chill of one's spine. Yeah. I see. Okay. All right, guys, here we go. Last song of the night. Everybody give a big shout out to our freaking DJ. Freaking DJ Nick. Shout out to the big homie.
Don't forget,
DJ Nick.
If we get enough likes before the end of this review, we will run a contest, and you can get free shit.
That's right, dear listener. All right, here we go. Septicflesh. It is a live video, so enjoy it. Let's do it. Vampire from Nazareth. Wonder how them kids must have felt. You get the lyrics?
Ladies and gentlemen!
I have to pause this because I have to agree. Shout out to DJ freaking Nick.
100%.
For freaking sure. I did not have this scheduled on my calendar today. And when Sori told me, I said, we're going to get some metal. DJ freaking Nick, everybody. All right, we're going back in. You see how that guy... Come on, everybody!
No!
Where is he? gotta go back. Hold on. What did you say? Where is that?
Wow. Unbelievable. Look how many people were involved in that. This is incredible. What? Song of the night for you?
I thought that Iron Maiden was gonna get Song of the Night, man. I don't know.
Yeah, this one was pretty crazy.
I don't know. This man said we offer the sun.
Yeah.
That is such a crazy line.
It said we offer a sun, we offer the sun.
That is just... Ugh, God. That just... Guys...
The wolf is wearing the pelt of the lamb.
Listen, it's just... It's the right religion. I'm sorry. Everybody else is wrong. It has nothing to do with me. It's just...
Yeah.
What kind of... The art that this man from Nazareth inspires is just crazy to me. It's just absolutely insane.
No equal.
Nobody even close, bro. It's not even close. It's not even close. So the scriptures say even when you're a righteous person, even the wicked will have to sing your praises. Even a man's enemies will sing his praises, it says, if you're a righteous person. So, I mean, lyrically it's crazy. Did you send it to me yet?
Oh, I thought I did. But
I couldn't follow where he was lyrically, so that was
ladies and
pissing me
gentlemen,
off
yeah.
a little bit. But
yeah, I kept losing track also.
I think there was some ad-lib action going on
I think
in
so
there.
too, because it seemed like there was some extra words, and then all of a sudden it'd come back to the lyrics.
Did you see that them kids though, man? Like, that must have been so crazy for them.
Yeah.
They must have been like, this is some weird shit, but
yeah.
okay. But all right.
Yeah.
I mean, the money's still working, right? All right, so we in here. I just, oh man, I love that song. I love that song. And I love the constant refrain, we offer the sun.
Yes.
That's just there's so many meanings there.
Uh-huh.
So many meanings.
So much, yeah. This one's actually playlist for me. Playlist worthy. Believe it or not.
Okay.
I think it's pretty believable. What?
All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, ride to the land of secrets. Find all the traces left behind.
With sword in hand, the covenant.
A cross baptized in blood, the nectar of the gods' might.
Jesus.
Yeah, the covenant. So a covenant is, just for modern sensibilities,
sort of
a contract between two parties.
Oh.
And it's basically, I swear to do this on consequence of this. You swear to do that on consequence of that. Blood being the nectar of the gods is a crazy line.
That was wild, yeah.
That is a crazy,
well, you know what
crazy
also
line.
was? A cross baptized in blood.
Mm-hmm.
Because we usually talk about, actually, baptism is supposed to symbolize that experience of Christ on the cross, and your entrance into his kingdom, basically, where you're like, I'm doing this your way, like I'm part of your family now. And so like you go under the waters of baptism, just like Christ went through his death and resurrection. You go under the waters of baptism, and it's like you leave that
You were buried with him in baptism.
Yeah, and then you rise. So it's like it's deeply symbolic. So to hear it kind of flipped across baptized in blood, because that is what we are, they are correlated. Just hearing it that way was like the flip side of it.
Mm-hmm. Making wrong to seem right.
Yeah.
Destroy all the traces left behind with the sword in hand, the covenant across baptized in blood. I'm assuming this is about Christendom's expansion and treatment of pagans, which would be making wrong seem right. Which is really interesting because there's it's not a very famous passage, but it basically, woe to those who exchange the truth, who call sweet for bitter and bitter for sweet, who call good evil and evil good.
Yeah.
There is a special curse for people that do that in the Bible.
Yep.
And so it's very interesting when he says making wrong to seem right. Because when I say I'm talking about my spiritual ancestors. What my spiritual ancestors did with pagans and the way they were treating them was horrible. It was not biblical, and it is something impossible to defend from a biblical perspective. So, making wrong to seem right. I mean, we've got something called a missionary position. Like, think through the implications. So it's interesting. It's like making wrong to seem right. These are the things that you don't really learn in Sunday school.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, you should learn these things in Sunday school. Your pagan friend should not be the one that's informing your child of all the ugliness that happened in Christian history. Mm-hmm. They should hear that from us. Mm-hmm. That's another reason that homeschooling is important.
Yep.
It's because our kids need to know. And I want to make sure they have a clear understanding. Christianity is the most beautiful thing in the world, but there are really ugly people who can turn something that beautiful into something really, really ugly and reprehensible.
100% true.
And historically speaking, we haven't been the ones to call ourselves out. And so you got to have extremely gifted people like these people here, presumably pagan, whatever you want to talk about, and do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, definitely like all of that. For, like when I was hearing the song, it was like the concept of like when he was saying, "We offer the sun, the wolf is wearing the pelt of the lamb. We offer the sun with thorns." With thorns his crown, we offer a son. It just was reminding me of like the death of Christ and everything that was involved in those moments, but then also like all of us, like, I teach our kids all the time, like everybody does bad things, because I never want them to think that anybody's perfect. None of us are better. You know what I mean? Like we're all,
yeah.
And there's, it was interesting because you're seeing them recognize that, like, when, if somebody bigger than them does something crazy, and they say, well, why did that person just do that? Then it's an easy, like, remember, like, we're all bad, like, we're all, whatever. So when this song is going out, I'm just like, it was like all of us collectively, like, coming to the point where it was like, we recognize that our actions offered the son up as a sacrifice, like, because we're sinful and because we choose to do the things that we know are wrong. Like we choose ourselves over other people, and in choosing ourselves over other people and loving ourselves more than other people, we end up hurting other people around us, whether intentionally or unintentionally. We harm each other. We don't care. We're apathetic. So it's just like all of us in all of our ways have done things where the wolf is wearing the pelt of the lamb. Like Jesus, it says, was led like a lamb led to the slaughter, Isaiah says. And he's like a sacrificial lamb. So it's just, it was just crazy, like hearing that part, because it was almost like just all of us like recognizing like, hey, like we took part in that. And when it said ravens on top as angels fly, that was interesting, because before, didn't he say something about, was that the other song about stealing from the raven?
Yeah, that was another song.
Yeah, that's crazy. Synchronicity.
But the wolf and the pelt of the lamb is actually a pretty hopeful line, because There's a passage in Revelation where it says that the false prophet speaks. He has the appearance of the lion, but he has the horns of a dragon. And the idea was he has the appearance of the lion of the lamb, which looks like Jesus, but he's got the horns of the dragon or whatever. And horn in the Old and New Testament symbolizes power. So you have a guy that's pretending to be Christ, but is empowered by demonic energy. And so when he talks about wolves in the pelt of the lamb, that to me is an extremely hopeful line, because what it's saying is Jesus is cool. It's just the people acting like him and claiming to be him that are wearing the pelt of the Lamb of God that are the problem. So he's making a distinction between the wolves and the actual Lamb of God.
Yeah.
But what you see here is a cross baptized in blood, the vampire from Nazareth, for blood is the life. And so that's a direct quote from Leviticus. The life of the flesh is in the blood, and I've given it to make atonement for your souls. I think pretty much is what it says in Leviticus. And I can see how comfortable Westerners, especially comfortable Europeans, can have this criticism. Why is your God so obsessed with blood and bleeding out? Why does he do that? Why does he have to do that to forgive everybody? Why is this blood? And the answer, of course, is really simple. If God is just, then he has to punish evil. Now, the problem that we have is that we take evil and we say Osama bin Laden, Muqtada al-Sadr, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Barack Obama, Donald Trump. Like, we all have people that we're like, oh, these are evil people. I'm just a good person who accidentally from time to time makes mistakes. And so, isn't it interesting? All the shit that we struggle with on a daily basis, those are trivial, small things. The other sins that other people commit, those are the biggest sins in the world. Right? Like, you talk to a liberal, greed is like the worst thing ever. Which, biblically speaking, the liberals actually have a pretty good argument to make, but I'm not going to help you guys with it. But, like, only people who are comfortable Western people can say things like, why does your God need blood? Like, if you go overseas and you talk to a father who witnessed his wife and daughter get violated before she was set on fire and died.
Oh my gosh.
You go and tell that guy that God just will willy-nilly forgive the people that did that to his family. Or we can go to him and say, yeah, God can forgive the people that did that to your daughter, but God can't just let that go. And so he took out all the rage and anger that he had toward that on Christ, because your daughter's too valuable for God to just like shrug his shoulders and then the people that violated her just come on in. No, there has to be an acknowledgement that something valuable has been taken. And so when God says, I will forgive you in Jesus, look at this person. It says, Isaiah 52:13, that his appearance was marred beyond human semblance. And there's a very important reason for that. The reason for that is as follows. Listen very closely. Jesus was beaten beyond human semblance because human beings' favorite pastime is to dehumanize one another. And the reason we dehumanize one another is because that human being across from you is getting in the way of one of your goals and aims. And so in order for you to maintain your goals and aims, you have to treat them horribly to get them out of the way, but you can't do that because you're created in the image of God. And so what you have to do is you have to depersonalize or de-imagize. You know, a lot of people are saying like, oh, you're dehumanizing somebody. You can't dehumanize somebody. Human being is it's a scientific classification. What people are trying to do is not dehumanize anyone. They're trying to de-imagize them. And that is the rub. De-imagization is a devaluing of the human being.
That's right.
I don't care what you call it, divine spark. We were researching the
Christ
Aztecs.
was de-imaged to restore our
Exactly.
image.
Christ was de-imaged as a human being in order for us to restore the image of humanity forever. That's the point.
The image of God in us. That's crazy.
Right? It's one of the reasons why the term nigger doesn't have this like esoteric power over me. I don't care. Christ was de-imagized on the cross. There's nothing that you can say or do to me that's worse than what happened to Christ. And if Christ overcame that, I promise you I'm going to overcome it. That's how you use the cross. That's how...
Yeah.
But people who are on the west side of the world who have not seen atrocities firsthand, who have not seen people gleefully playing soccer with the head of someone, people who think that their little, oh, like, I know that, like, a lot of our chocolate and shit comes from Africa and slave camps, and I know that people in China are killing themselves in these giant factories without, but, you know, I'm not evil. It's my government that's evil, even though I'm benefiting daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, quarterly from the horrible actions of my government. I'm going to say I'm not responsible in any way. People who live that way cannot understand a bloody cross. But the rest of the world understands. The things that we do to each other are not little mini missteps, dear listener. If you've recently been hanging out with a friend or somebody that you like or whatever, and you lose your mind, you say all types of weirdo, crazy shit to them, man, that's human. That's being a human being. It is, to err is human. To have the humility to go back and say, I did wrong, and whatever happens as a result of that, I'll take it. That's the divine aspect of the human being. That is not natural to our nature. But many of us, bless God, are like that. But it's so crazy because as Christians, we believe that God is actually a community. We believe there's one being, but within that one being, there are three persons, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And so the picture that we have of a heavenly cosmology is at the very, very top. There's like this secret inner room in heaven where only the Trinity is. And they're up there doing Trinity shit that they've been doing for trillions of years. And then they've got this group called the B'nai Elohim, Sons of God, who they've basically trained up to run the universe together with them. Okay, so when I look at that line, we offer a son. That's the Trinity offering us Christ. That's God the Father saying, this is my son. This is the Holy Spirit saying, I'm going to offer this son to you. And then the good angels in the divine council who love humanity, we're offering you the son. And then you've got the millions and millions of us from all of church history, from the first one to the last one. All of us are saying, we're offering you a son.
Wow.
And look, it says right there, it says, with thorns in his crown. And so this has been such a fascinating song, because on the one hand, it's got a very ruthless condemnation, rightly so, of Christianity, while at the same time making sure at the linguistic level, there's a clear delineation between the lamb and the wolves who are going around pretending to be the lamb.
Yep.
The son
Yep.
who takes part in the suffering, including the ritual suffering of the pagans, where we took beautiful things like baptism and literally drowned people in the baptismal font because they were refused to denounce their gods against their will.
Yeah.
Because we're too ignorant to see that these gods have been literally taking care of these people for hundreds of years, thousands of years. And so you don't have the theological sophistication to be able to explain to them, like, yeah, that was their job and they did decent, but here's like the... Nope. So the song is just so fascinating to me because Vampire from Nazareth, I know you're a Christian, you're supposed to freak out, they're disrespecting Christ. I don't look at it as them disrespecting Christ. I think that here's the deal. When you're a Christian, you're saying that you represent Christ on the earth. And a lot of us are blood hungry, man. The Bible says that God hates the hands that shed innocent blood. It also says that it pleased the Lord to crush Jesus on the cross. And there was nothing but innocent blood being shed there. So there's one of your 10 million biblical contradictions, when in actuality, it might be that in principle, God hates when the innocent are murdered because God is a just God. But on the other hand, being a just God, he knows if I'm going to get Vincent, somebody's going to have to pay that bill. But Vincent's bill is an eternal one. So it's got to be one of us, Trinity, because an angel can't do it, a cherub can't do it, a seraphim can't do it, all the good angels put together times a million can't do it, because it's for eternity. So you need an eternal being to accomplish that mission. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I'll leave you with that. We offer the Son, man. We offer the Son, and he's got thorns in his crown, because you have thorns on your crown, dear listener. The scripture says that if you're a human being, he created you and he crowned you with glory and honor. And sin has made it so that that crown turns into a crown of thorns. And the very thing that was supposed to honor you is actually raining blood down on your forehead, all through your eyes, and you can't see. All you can see is your bad situation. I'll tell you, look to the cross, because it's bloody, it's baptized in blood, but it's empty. And so is that tomb, dear listener. And honestly, I've lived this world, I've gone a bunch of places, I've lived about 15 lifetimes. If I told you my life, you wouldn't believe me. I can tell you this, I've been everywhere. There's nothing like that dude. I'm just telling you, there's nothing like Jesus. Nothing. So yeah, man, Jesus was dehumanized. He even said it in Psalm 22. He says, I am a worm and not a man. So all the women that have ever been dehumanized on TV or in computer or at the workplace or in their homes, all the immigrants that have ever been disrespected, all the Gazan children suffocating to death right now, calling for their mom. That's why Jesus had to die a bloody death, man. Because I got Gazan kids under rubble. And I got moms who are covering their heads because they don't want to hear the last.
Oh my God, I can't even.
I got
imagine.
people. I saw somebody take up like this carpet, and it had all this blood on the carpet, and I was like, oh my God, that's disgusting. It turns out it wasn't a carpet; it was the skin of his child. And she had just gotten separated. And it looked like he was just holding up And in the midst of that brutality, you should have seen the comments down there.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Good, great, one less terrorist, blah, 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 blah. Go watch that video. You watch that video, you can come back to me and tell me you're more sophisticated than the God of the Bible, because the God of the Bible is a savage that wants blood. I don't know. I think that kid shouldn't have died that way. And I think the motherfuckers that put him in that situation should pay. But you know what, dear listener? You're looking at one of the motherfuckers that put that kid in that situation. Because I'm an American. And my country's fueling this genocide. And I've spoken out against it. But I haven't done enough. And I need God to forgive me for that. Because I know what the fuck I would be doing if it was my kids.
Same.
That's why the cross has to be bloody. God the Father saying, I'll make a deal with you. You guys stop killing each other and we won't need bloody crosses anymore. Stop taking each other's shit and we won't need bloody crosses anymore. Stop taking out your mental health issues onto your friends and people that love you. We won't need the cross anymore. Stop hanging on to the times when your friends offend you. Stop. Jesus endured a bloody cross. You can endure a bad friend once in a while. There's lots of reasons the cross has to be bloody, dear listener. The Bible and Christianity is so epically real. None of these little truthisms and no, it's real. People wreck your entire family for generations. You want me to tell them, yeah, man, just let it go? Nah. I'm going to say, hey, mother of Yusuf, Yusuf, that little Yusuf, that little baby was so valuable that in order for this world to keep spinning, the Son of God had to be brutally murdered so that the anger of God would not completely consume this fucking planet just for your son alone. That's what I'm telling them. You can tell them something else. That God's up there being Mr. Rogers in a nice fucking little sweater and shit. Plaid sweater with some argyles telling us all to be nice to each other. You go and do that. I don't have that kind of God for you, dear listener. I only have a bloody, grimy, dirty cross. Hands fastened to wood with a lot of dirt under those fingernails, man. Like real world shit. That's what the cross is about. All this other shit where we're protected from all the evil that we participate in and the evil that's happened in the world. That's why we have to watch horror movies and shit like that. You got, I promise you, there's nobody in Syria and Afghanistan and shit like breaking down the hatches to see a horror movie because they live it.
Yeah.
You are so privileged that we got to make up nightmares for us to experience that the rest of the world is dealing with on a daily fucking basis. Be careful. I'm offering you a son. And some thorns, some nails. That's all I got for you. The rest of y'all got it figured out, man. I don't know how in the hell these Palestinians are supposed to move on from what the fuck has been going on to them for the last year. It's a silent count for me.
Oh, really?
Oh,
it's a 10 for me.
Wings of Eternal Light. I hope I don't disappoint you. I'm not a very good Christian, so I don't know if you could.
Neither am I.
I don't know if you could tell, but I'm not a very good Christian. But yeah, this is a silent count for me, man, because this shit is real, man.
It's a 10 for me.
Like, we've participated in a lot of suffering in the world. Mm-hmm. And the cross is not the final word. The empty tomb is the final word. Ephesians is the final word. He said he preached peace to you who are far and peace to you who are near. He said he went into the ground so that he could come up as one new man, thus killing the hostility. I'm tired of hostility. I'm tired of the hostilities I have personally. I'm tired of the hostilities that our countrymen have with each other. I'm tired of the hostilities that these Ukrainians and these Russian people who are literally brothers in every sense. I'm tired of that hostility. And I'm really tired of the Gaza and Israeli hostility, which is really another interfamilial dispute. I'm tired of all of that shit. But there's been a lot of blood put on the ground. And how do we convince offended people to forgive? And how do we convince people who believe they're superior to get some sort of humility? How's that going to happen? All I got for you is a cross, dear listener.
Yeah.
It's a deep song. It's a deep song. If you're a Christian, I plead with you. If you see one of these pagans and they're making fun of you or they're saying some crazy shit or they're blaspheming you, they're blaspheming Christ, man, if those people had 64 seconds with Jesus, they would never say anything but good about him. When they're blaspheming Christ, I'm not even certain that they're even blaspheming Christ. They're talking about us. And I think God knows that. I think a lot of us are going to be surprised when this is all over. Oh, this fucking guy. I can't wait to see you. He said a bunch of shit about you, Jesus. Just wait. And Jesus was like, I didn't really say anything about me. Mm-hmm. Like, nigga, I got the... See, I'd be up there correcting Jesus. I'd be like, I got the videotape right here. Look, you were wrong. And he's going to say, yeah, he's talking about you, bro. But he used your name. I know, but he was talking about you. He wasn't talking about me. He likes me. Ask him. Well, how do you feel about Jesus? I love him. He's great. Why didn't you tell me more about him? Why were you sitting there telling me that I'm a queer and I'm a faggot, I'm going to hell? Why didn't you just tell me how cool this guy was? I don't listen to him. You're going to have those conversations. I promise you. This shit is real, is what I'm saying. It's real. We got to be careful about how we conduct ourselves in the world. That's me and you over everybody. So we're the ones with the channel. Mm-hmm. And that's why I go out of my way to tell you guys, I'm not a very, very good Christian.
Yeah, me neither.
But I have a very good Jesus. I know a guy. And he can help you. All right. That's all I got. Really good song, DJ Nick. And it was
God's song of the night for you?
Yeah, it's a song. It was God's providence that we had to do it last.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect to be.
So
that
is what
that is.
Yeah,
it was a 10 for me. Yeah, a 10 all the way. I really, really enjoyed that one. I enjoyed it in the sense that I felt like there was some depth to it that I was able to like grab onto, enjoyment in that sense. Guys, so that was the first of DJ Nick's Halloween stream.
Bonanza.
So unless there's so he said that there's 4 streams for October, so 4 Halloween ones. So let's I think the next one is going to be on the 11th.
And no pressure on you either, Nick, at all.
Right. No.
Okay?
Yeah.
We're going to make it work. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We knew, believe me, when I say thank you for hanging out with us, I actually mean it. You guys could have done a lot of other stuff. I mean, it's Friday night. You guys should have been out, and you guys chose to spend the time with us. Can't ask for more than that. You can't ask for more than that. Mm-hmm. Jeff, Nick, Ben, Wings of Eternal Light, Aaron, Hunter, all you beautiful people, Overshadow Sean James, Ben Bear, making sure that we're up on it. Lost Hate, much love.
DJ Nick.
Of course, DJ freaking Nick, dear listener. Up in this joint. Much love to all you beautiful people. Love your neighbor. Take care of each other.
Yes. We'll see you guys next time.
We'll see you next time, guys. Vin out.
Sorry.